Morning.
Take a nap yesterday?
No. Nope. The schools, because of the storm, wanted you to get they really were stressing the idea of getting your kids early.
So her first day back, she went like 5 hours?
No, it's full day. They just wanted the after school programs. They asked you to pick up your kids early. So I picked up Maddie at like 3:00 yesterday, 3:15.
Yeah, they Jacksonville pretty much shut down around 1:00 yesterday. I think Julie drove like right next to a tornado home at like 4:30. She said, yeah, I think it was like right there. And she goes, yeah, I was kind of just ahead of it and to the left. I'm like, oh, good. Spitz, baby Jules, top of the morning to everybody.
Potential poll question.
Well, we have 2 minutes.
Who would you rather have
2 minutes.
Who would you rather have coach your NFL team, Mike Vrabel or Jim Harbaugh?
How about Mike Vrabel?
Harbaugh, but
how about Mike Vrabel or your current coach?
That's good.
I don't think that. Think in terms of, can we get a segment out of Mike Vrabel or your current coach? Because I don't know if that's great radio. Then I don't know if that's necessarily a great poll question.
Okay. I think we could do a segment on it, but okay.
What about who? Like who's?
Because to me, it would be like when we do a quarterback segment. Okay, like Tua. Who would you take over Tua? To me, it would be like coaches. You would take over Mike Vrabel. Go. But okay, that's fine.
That's got to be.
The Titans were thinking about trading him. Would you trade for a head coach?
I like that better.
Because you wouldn't. You've been on the record. You're not a trade for a coach guy.
Nope.
And I would. Before firing him, the Titans thought about trading Mike Vrabel.
Well, and I don't know if I wouldn't, 4th round pick I'd trade for a coach. I'm not trading a 1st or a 2nd round pick. And that's where you and I have argued.
Well, wasn't it more about the process, how long it takes?
Yeah, which is BS.
I agree.
To be honest, because they do it all the time. They announce that they're going to trade somebody and they go sign his replacement and they've got him on the side and they eventually work out a deal. I mean,
yeah, that was my first thought, David. I was like, what? That is not a valid excuse, in my opinion.
I mean, you could have just said, we're trading Mike Vrabel. Mike will not be back as coach. We're going to trade him. Okay. And now while we work out a deal, we're going to, pursue his replacement.
So something related to Vrabel. At the first break, we can get it up. Because we got 10 seconds here.
Well, I mean, we don't have to have it up at, 6:01, 6:15. I mean, I know we're trying to turn over a new leaf.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Just like that, it's a hump day. What do you say we get over it together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com is where you go to, download all parts of the show. And when we make crazy predictions, that's where you go to actually find out what they were. We document them and there's proof forever how wrong we are. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, David. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm in like a hoodie.
Well, are. You were running a little late this morning. And you sent out a text that I'll be there, and then you came in a snowmobile suit. So were you out scraping the windows before the show, shoveling the drive? What was going on there?
as soon as the show's over, and along the network it's over at 9, but we do a bonus hour for the 239, so we're done at 10. And the three of us spend a long time talking. We talk to about 10:01 to 10:03, and then I always have errands. I'm a big list of things to do guy.
Yeah, you do have a lot of errands. I don't know anybody that has quite the amount of errands. My wife is similar in the amount of errands that she can do. You are an errand person.
I am. And now that we're caretaking for my mother-in-law, a lot of prescriptions to be picked up and what have you. So and for the football season, I'm usually only home like 2 full days a week. So I got to get stuff done, Mark. I got to make sure that when I come home from the football weekends and what have you, that the keys still work. So that's why I'm running errands. And so I like to dress for the show, kind of like how I dress when I fly. I dress for where I'm going. And I like to do that with the show as well. Because as soon as the show's over, baby, shoes on, boom.
So you're heading to the gym today?
When have I ever dressed?
You got a sweatshirt. It looks like you're going running or something.
David, you look like you could be Rocky Balboa running through the streets.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to throw you an orange and hit the steps.
I could, but no. I would challenge the two of you. When have you seen me in the morning in which you thought, wow, Moulton's getting ready to work out?
Today.
Because I have a hoodie on?
Because you have the hoodie on. You don't, but
So when you look at Belichick on the sidelines, you think, boy, when this game's over, he's going to pound out a good workout.
Yeah. Sleeves are off. He's ready to go.
Listen, if I'm ever going to wear some, Trent, for you, all right, if I ever wear a sweatshirt that looks like, when Rocky kind of slips his hands in, he made little like pockets for himself.
Yes.
That's when wow, Moulton's training for a fight. Look at what he's got on.
So if and when that day comes, that'll be the tell.
Right. Translation, I'm never working out. All right. If a doctor looks at me and says, listen, if you don't start working out, you're going to die. And I'd look right at him and I go, well, let's pick a date. Over, under. Just, I had a decent run. I, wanted it to be better, but, okay.
But I refuse to run to make that decent run any better.
No, I just, it is what it is. We all get there. So, no, I'm good. I'm all right.
David, you have more accountability than half the head coaches in the NFL by saying that right there.
I'll tell you what, they really can deflect the blame. Mark, can we ever have a situation where, and Trent, unfortunately, you're it right now. I want to have a situation where when we don't achieve whatever our goals are, we can just start firing staff.
Problem is we have a staff of 3.
And really we have a staff of 1, because I don't think Miller's going to fire Moulton or Moulton's going to fire Miller.
Right.
So, and I really don't want to fire Trent. Seems like a nice guy. I certainly don't want to fire him before he gets to witness a Lions playoff game. I mean, come on. He needs those $7.
But we don't have to deflect. Things are going well.
I think so.
We can sit there and puff our chest out and be proud of it. I in fact think that Miller and Moulton right now, we're a playoff team, David. I don't know how far we're going to go in the playoffs.
we have the X next to our name right now.
You think so? You think we're a playoff team?
Do you not?
I have to admit, most days I kind of feel like the Dolphins roster that's going to stagger into Kansas City. I mean, I do think sometimes we're just signing guys off the street. Hey, have you played defensive end recently? I played Carolina in October. Sold. Come on down. But, okay. Got to admit, do you know it's going to be the coldest game in Miami Dolphins history?
I do. It's going to be in single digits. We talked about that yesterday. 10 degrees in Kansas City, I believe in 2007 or 2008, was the coldest that they ever played and it's going to be single digits Saturday night.
They're talking it could be the donut. I mean, they're talking the numbers might not even be crooked. They might get down to the donut. That's before the wind.
From 1 to 10 on the BFD scale, where do you put this?
Oh,
10?
9.
No. They're talking about this could be like one of the 5 or 6 coldest games ever played in the league.
It's funny. For those along the network, they don't hear it. But in the bonus hour, we do a little thing. Today was a day when at the end of the show. Today is the anniversary of the AFC Championship Freezer Bowl game between
San Diego
Cincinnati
and
and San
Cincinnati.
Diego. Yeah. How'd that work out for San Diego?
They looked really cold, especially since the week before they played in an unusually warm, muggy, early January night in Miami. And then they played in what was then the second coldest game ever played, the Ice Bowl. Packers Cowboys in the mid 60s was colder.
And they looked, and obviously, Trent, it's way before your time, but
Right.
I remember that game as a teenager, and they looked
They were done.
miserable.
How
Yeah.
crushed were you that the Chargers lost?
Horribly. That was my team. That's when
They were fun. Dan Fouts, Joyner, Jefferson, Winslow,
I mean,
Chuck Muncie. That was fun. Yeah.
and they wanted nothing to do with that game.
So how do you, knowing that history, if you're Mike McDaniel, like how do you even prepare your guys for this? How early do you go to Kansas City?
I'm trying to figure out what kind of pants Mike McDaniel's going to wear, because if he pulls those things up, he's going to get frostburn on his calves for crying out loud.
There's a part of me, if I'm Mike McDaniel, there's 2 ways to do it. Do you go early and get used to the cold? Trust me, you can't get used to the cold in a day.
Not
There's
a
another-
chance.
There's another part of me that's like, we'll leave Saturday morning, we'll land midday, we'll have lunch, we'll go to the stadium. We'll stay in the locker room as long as we can. We'll go out, we'll stretch, we'll play. What do you say?
Here's what I think they should do. Take a flight over to Siberia, put a couple tree logs on your shoulders, walk through 3 feet of snow, do the Rocky
If
treatment.
you get the right music behind that, it almost guarantees you a victory.
Because Mahomes is the Drago of the NFL. Iconic, David.
Yeah, but that makes him the enemy. That's the guy wearing the black hat. When did Mahomes start wearing the black hat?
Oh, I think the Dolphins are pretty likable.
Most people around the country don't even know who's outside of Tua and Tyreek. They don't know anybody else on the team. And besides, half the team's hurt. Hell, you got Dolphins fans who are going to be, guys are going to make tackles on Saturday night. They're going to go, I'll be damned. He's on the team. I mean, when Mike McDaniel on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Monday, stood at the podium and said, oh, yeah, we're going to have guys on the team playing in the game who are not on the team currently. Oh, I guess you're shorthanded, coach. So
Signing guys off other teams' practice squads, elevating players from the practice squad just to fill a roster out for this weekend.
Kelsey, in all seriousness, should have a very big day. They don't have linebackers to cover him. So I would think Kelsey has a big day. Listen, it'll be cold for the Chiefs. That's how cold it's going to be.
Not as cold as it's going to be for Miami.
No, it's not. It's going to be so cold in Kansas City, the Chiefs are going to be like, man, we got to win this game so we can go to Buffalo next week, okay? I mean, we got to get ourselves to Buffalo. It'll be warmer there.
Well, to David's point, when you're talking this extreme of a historic cold front or whatever, it's not like Kansas City gets this cold. You know, the Chiefs are going to be cold too.
No.
I'm trying to spin it.
There's no unfortunately, there's not a lot of spin you can put in favor of the Miami Dolphins right now, and that stinks.
It is. Because they're not the Miami Dolphins. I mean, when they show up Saturday night, it's not going to really bear a resemblance to what that team looked like a month ago. So It would be one of the greatest wins in franchise history if they went to Kansas City and won. I mean, it would earn them a date the next week with the Ravens, and that was already ugly when they had a healthy roster. But it truly would be one of the best wins in franchise history if they go to Kansas City and get a W. That would shut a lot of people up. Even if the Ravens, Mark, do the whole 56-14 thing again or whatever it was, that would shut a lot of people up if they go to Kansas City and get a W.
Well, and there's already articles being written that McDaniel's going to be on the hot seat starting next year. I mean, they're already starting to line this thing up. It's incredible.
You want to say to these national people, hey, can we talk about what it's been like to be a Dolphin fan? All right. He has taken them to back-to-back playoff appearances. All right. It's been 20 years since that happened. Okay. All right, just hold on firing the guy. Is he Shula? No. Is he Cam Cameron? No. Take it easy.
Butterflies. Our buddy Cam Cameron.
Yep, you spotted that right. We were there for one day. You looked at me and you said, this is not going to go well.
Once in a while, we get things right. We do have another great show lined up for you today.
Yeah, did okay.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, will join us. Seth Everett for his weekly appearance, and JP Shadrick to do a little postmortem on the Jags.
JP, who texted me yesterday and says, I've been drinking a lot.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Is there a way we could fit the Dolphins' cold prep or whatever you want to call it into a poll question? Or do we want to stick with the Vrabel coach thing?
Would you trade a first or second round draft pick for a head coach?
I like that. You could definitely get a segment out of that.
Yep.
Well, we'll take suggestions. Goodness knows we don't have all the answers.
How about this? And hear me out.
Uh-oh.
Do you believe in aliens?
Do you believe what?
In aliens. I was just kidding. I was making the joke that because if the sports questions are boring.
Well, not only that, the sports questions will get 1/3 the response. Does the how should I phrase this? Does the Pat McAfee ESPN conflict interest you?
It interests me.
Yeah, it interests us, but we kind of know what's happening. I don't think a lot of the average sports fans know what's going on there.
Well, I don't know. I'll be right back.
Wait, really? Stop.
A little snark. Snark from Mark. We should make that a segment. Morning Snark with Mark. Yeah, see, already people are like, conflict? What's the conflict?
Mm-hmm.
No clue what's going on with Pat McAfee and ESPN.
McAfee signed a 5-year deal, DC. So he's got over 4 years left. Ooh,
by the way, in Detroit,
I like that question, Adam.
What, would you attend?
Yeah, would you go?
That reminds me, in Detroit on Sunday night, it's going to be like single digits as well. They're playing inside, of course. I'm just saying, we're tailgating.
My buddy's tailgating at the Eastern Market. He was telling me, he's like, he was going to be cold.
Yeah. We're going to have to put on a few extra layers for that one.
Well, not only that, DC, he's got his guests calling him out.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. So we said we were going to turn over a new leaf in 2024 with poll questions. We were actually going to have them, and we were going to have them early in the show to discuss, to get people involved, to engage. Do we have a poll question?
I think we do.
Okay. What is it?
Well, I mean, we've had about 3 here, but I think we're going with, would you trade a first or second round pick for a head coach?
So we went with the Vrabel question. Okay. Mike Vrabel fired yesterday. Huge mistake. Oh, my goodness. You think there's quick? All right. Quick sidebar. Mark, 10 better head coaches than Mike Vrabel?
Boy.
6 years, he went to the playoffs 4 times, was the number 1 seed once, went to the AFC Championship game once, won 55% of his games. His best quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. And that ain't close, by the way. If you look on paper, the list of people he has started over those 6 years, I mean, the Titans are the reason that the Jags are out of the playoffs. The Titans are the reason the Dolphins aren't the 2 seed. And I'll go another further tangent.
Titans are the reason that Pittsburgh's in the playoffs. I mean, what they did, they did a lot for a lot of teams.
And by the way, that loss to Tennessee by the Dolphins then don't have to play their guys the final game against Buffalo. You know, they give it the shot against Baltimore. They lost. They would have been the 2 seed. So all the guys who got hurt against the Bills, yeah, they wouldn't have played.
Well,
all the guys who came back to try to play in that game when they weren't 100%, like good, and re-injured themselves, they wouldn't have played. And Buffalo would have won that game because, I mean, first off, they beat the Dolphins anyway when they're trying. Secondly, the Dolphins wouldn't have tried. And the Bills then would be the 6th seed. And they'd be in Kansas City. And the Dolphins would be hosting the Steelers without TJ Watt. That's how damaging that loss to Tennessee was for the Dolphins. But back to Vrabel. Off the top of my head, I would take Belichick, I would take Reed, I would take Tomlin. Off the very top of my head. I think he's somewhere in the category, you know, would I take Sean McVay? Sure. But I really think he's in that second tier of coaches. You may put him at the bottom of the second tier if you've got the top tier, but I really think Mike Vrabel's in the second tier of coaches. I would trade a draft pick for a second tier coach. Never mind a first tier coach.
A first or second round pick.
Absolutely. Coaching makes a big difference. I don't think we talk about it enough, quite frankly. Absolutely. First off, these guys get 40 to 50% of their first and second round picks wrong. I at least know what I'm getting if I give up one of those picks for a coach. I would.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And you have felt this way, you know,
forever.
This is right. You know, this is when the Bucks gave up what they gave up for Gruden. You and I weren't doing a show together, but we knew one another. We'd cross paths a lot. You know, I remember us having drinks debating that. They gave up a lot too. Yeah, it was like 2 1s, 2 2s for Gruden. But they got a parade.
No, they did. And that should be enough to turn me around on that argument. Can you know, if it gets you a parade, you do whatever it takes to do it.
But so the Titans, they fired Vrabel late morning, and then the owner, she sits down and does some media, and she says, well, we weren't bringing him back. We thought about trading him, but we just thought it would be awkward. It would take too long. You know, I mean, we
might miss out on the guy we were going to wanted to get.
Which I think is preposterous. They do it with players all the time. I mean, the NFL, they designate guys a June 1st cap casualty in February or March. You don't think the NFL world could have operated under Mike's not coming back, but he's under contract, so we're going to trade him. So for those who are looking for a coach, if you're interested in Mike Vrabel, call us. By the way, at the same time, we're going to begin the process of replacing Mike Vrabel and his staff.
But you don't I mean, you have to admit, you have zero leverage in trading Vrabel then. What are you going to get for a guy that you're going to get rid of? You've already announced you're getting rid of him. You already announced you don't want him, but we're going to trade him.
Well, I think you have the calendar on your side. I think you've got leverage through the month. I mean, the 6 teams that don't currently have a coach, they want to hire a coach. They want to get this done by the Super Bowl. They want to move on. So I think you've got the calendar on your side. If by chance nobody trades for Vrabel by the Super Bowl, yeah, you got bupkis. I mean, ask an Eagles fan right now. And their coach took them to the Super Bowl last year. Ask an Eagles fan, Nick Sirianni or Mike Vrabel.
Guy took him to the Super Bowl and they want him gone. That's
yep.
I mean,
there
that speaks volumes of the Philadelphia sports fan right there. Okay, if the answer is really we want to get rid of our guy and get Mike Vrabel in there, best of luck to you.
Just wait till they realize that next year when Jalen Hurts isn't at his MVP level anymore, and they realize that's their real problem is they gave him all that money
and they lose six linemen because they're going to retire.
And they fire Sirianni, and then it's just a whole dumpster fire going on in Philly. Just wait for that to happen.
Guys have stopped playing for him, though. When that happens, you got to replace all the guys. I mean, that's the big problem right now there. If you know.
Well, David, there's rumors that that's what happened in Tennessee with Vrabel.
But it's obviously not true. They didn't stop playing for him. They went to Miami and beat the Dolphins, for goodness sakes, with a rookie quarterback. Did you see the way they played on Sunday? They played on Sunday. Hard. They didn't stop playing for Mike Vrabel.
Could you argue that last Sunday they were playing for Derrick Henry?
Possibly.
I just think he and I'm not, David, I completely agree with you. I would take Mike Vrabel over, no more than 10 coaches in the NFL. But you could definitely make the argument that he overstayed his welcome or got too abrasive.
He didn't overstay his welcome. They don't have a quarterback. All right. They had their window. They took their shot at it. All right. And for as much as I've defended Ryan Tannehill over the years, the best team that they've had in the last 12 years, Tannehill screwed it up in the playoff game against the Bengals through 4 picks. And Derrick Henry was hurt in that game. All right. They had their moment. They had their window. They came close. They didn't get it done. Now it's time to regroup. And instead, they're going to regroup with a new coach. Oof. I'd trade a pick for Mike Vrabel. Absolutely, I would.
And by a pick, you mean a first or a second round pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Because I'd trade a 4th rounder for a coach. I've got no problem with that. But I'm not getting rid of one of the first 60 picks in the draft for a coach when there are plenty of competent people, good people out there that you can get without trading a draft pick.
So, in honor of Vrabel getting fired because they didn't think they could trade him, we ask you, would you trade a draft pick, a 1st or 2nd round pick, for a head coach? Dolphins traded for Shula. It has worked out. Just saying.
You've got 2 great examples. There's no doubt.
Don't have many, but Mark, I love diva wide receivers, and I'd trade draft picks for head coaches. The starting 5 is next.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. a team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. David?
Yes.
Just want to let you know it's Harry Gant's birthday.
God. I interviewed Harry Gant at a gas station in Clark Summit. He was doing a personal appearance for 2 hours midweek leading into the races at Pocono. God, with that Skoll 33. That's when Rubbin was racing, Mark. Harry Gant, is Harry Gant alive? He's got to be mid-80s.
He's born in 1940. He's 84.
God.
He didn't make the list, so I thought I'd let you know personally.
Trent, you know who Harry Gant is?
NASCAR?
Right, but do you know if we put a picture up, would you?
I wouldn't know who he was if you put a picture up.
Well, I'm just asking because he was in Days of Thunder.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't, in full honesty. I know who he is, but that's like a lot of old school football players too. I wouldn't recognize their face, but I know.
If we put a jersey on him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Bobby Rahall's birthday today, too.
Wow.
Other insignificant race car drivers that I'm not going to mention.
Insignificant. Won the Indy 500. He's insignificant. Holy
for the Today Was the Day one segment, David. I don't think people care about race car drivers. But they're going to care about Rod Stewart and Donald Fagen.
Well, you got a point there, but man,
Cannata.
Don't let John Cassio hear you. If you start talking about insignificant race car drivers, that's fighting words.
Hey, so David, I'm curious because I just want to hear your take on this. So, what teams in the top 10 do you think, if any, would trade for Mike Vrabel, trade their top 10 pick?
I don't know if any of them would.
Because it's interesting, right? Because those are the bad teams, but those are also premier picks. So it's like, the Chargers are at 5. Would they trade 5 for Mike Vrabel?
No, but if I was the Chargers, I'd trade my second round pick for Vrabel.
Okay. What about Philly? Mid-20s pick for Mike Vrabel.
I think it would have to be a case of if a rival was also interested in him, I think you could create a thing.
Well, because that's the incentive to do it, right? Is that you ensure you get that coach. Belichick to Philly, Vrabel to New England.
I'm fired up. You know what? You put a smile on my face, Mark. Thank you for that.
What?
Oh, Harry Gant.
Oh.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour, Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. 1 hour from now, Seth Everett, JP Shadrick in our great 8 hour on this hump day. Let's get over it together, shall we? We've got a poll question up. We've already been told it's boring. So we can go back to, do you believe in aliens?
Well, the problem was, David, I looked at like National Day today, and there's nothing there that gives me enough for a poll question. It's National Obesity Awareness Week. We look into a mirror every morning.
You guys.
I'm aware.
I'm aware. I'm well aware.
Although you're not,
Oh, no.
You're not obese.
According to the whole BMI thing, I am.
Yeah, but remember, Emmitt Smith was described as obese when he was leading the NFL in rushing.
He didn't have my gut.
And he fit the criteria of being obese. So, I think we need to have some discretion. That's all I'm saying. You're not obese. You have become beefy. Okay, as Dan Patrick would say. I do believe that you are starting to enter into beefiness. I know you want to leave beefiness behind and head back to where you were. So good luck with that.
I want those drugs that Barkley was taking. I want those shots that they give you. I want my doctor to start prescribing those things to me.
I'm totally with you, man. I'm there.
There's a way to game the system. That's what I'm interested in.
You and me both. So our poll question, Mike Vrabel got fired. The Titans said, we were going to trade him, but we thought it'd be messy. We thought it'd take too long. So we just cut to the chase. Would you trade a first or second round pick for a coach? Yes or no? Like Trent's bringing up teams. If I'm the Chargers, would I trade a second round pick for Mike Vrabel? Absolutely. Now, I'd hold off a few days because I'm waiting on Harbaugh, but you're damn right I'd trade a second-round pick for Vrabel. If I'm Atlanta, I'd trade a high second-round pick for Mike Vrabel. Absolutely, I would. But that's me. 20 minutes before the hour, it's time for...
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Titans fired Mike Vrabel after 6 years, 4 playoff appearances, but back-to-back losing seasons. We're done with this guy. Steelers officially ruled J.J. Watt out. T.J. Watt, I should say. My bad. T.J. Watt out. Did you see the tweet that by the way, do we still call it a tweet since it's now X?
It is still that's the confusing part. It's still a tweet, but it's on X.
Right. So did you see the tweet that J.J. Watt sent out? The Steelers ruled T.J. Watt out. J.J. Watt put his face in a Steelers jersey and helmet and said, did you think anybody would notice? Dolphins signed Justin Houston, Bruce Irvin, and Malik Reed, and immediately put Houston and Irvin on the active roster. Reed technically on the practice squad. Wait another 24 hours. He'll be on the roster. Broncos say they're keeping the door open to bring back Russell Wilson. Sean Payton's meeting with Russ took a half an hour. Asked afterwards, I mean, really? Are you going to keep him? And he said, well, if we definitely weren't, the meeting would have taken 30 seconds. Russ would have came in. I would have shook his hands. I would have told him goodbye. So, yes, keeping him is on the table. Okay. Remember yesterday, Mark, we told you the story about UNLV's freshman quarterback, Jordan Mayava. He was the freshman of the year in the Mountain West. Good player, too. I saw him against Michigan. He's got some talent. Well, he transferred to Georgia.
Right.
Well, give it 24 hours. Apparently now he's transferring to USC. Because Dad was the one Monday night who said he was transferring to Georgia. Apparently, son had other ideas. And son met yesterday with Lincoln Riley all day. And he talked him into, what do you want to go to Athens for? I mean, the campus is beautiful. They've got great players. They win. What do you want to go there for? Come to our campus. It's also beautiful. Okay, so we don't win as much. And there's 3,000-mile road trips. But no, really, come play with us.
Hell, one of your games will be on Peacock.
College hoops. You know, we strongly hinted at this yesterday. We said, you know, going on the road in conference play is a challenge. Nebraska had already had a couple of good home wins, but we specifically talked about the last unbeaten team, Houston, going on the road for the first time in the Big 12 to Ames, Iowa. And we said, this is not going to be easy. Yeah, Purdue got whacked at Nebraska, 88-72. The only other time Purdue's gone on the road in conference play this year, they went to Northwestern and they got beat. So Purdue's got 2 losses, both of them on the road in the Big 10. Houston went to Ames and lost to Iowa State 57-53. Tied with 30 seconds to go. Iowa State hit some shots, man, down the stretch. So no more unbeatens. Long live the 76 Hoosiers. Last unbeaten national champion in men's college basketball. Guys, I know you sprinkled a few shekels on Colorado State, Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State jumped out to an early lead and just stuck with it.
65-58 over the 17th ranked Rams. Game of the night in Waco, Texas. 14th ranked Baylor beat 18th ranked BYU 81-72. We said Florida State was going to beat Wake at home, even though Wake was favored. Florida State won 87-82. Noles are 9-6. Notre Dame got their first road ACC win in over 2 years. Beat Georgia Tech in overtime yesterday. We got some college hoops tonight. How about UCF? Welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah.
You're hosting Kansas.
Have fun, boys.
But what an atmosphere that should be. Imagine being a student. We're playing Kansas?
Kansas is only a 6.5-point favorite in that game.
Is that game at Amalie? I think it is.
No.
It's not?
It's at the Edition Financial Arena.
Man, I think I would have put that sucker at Amalie. I think they could sell out Amalie for Kansas. So UCF's hosting Kansas. Florida's at Ole Miss. Florida's favored on the road, even though Ole Miss only has 1 loss. And Miami's hosting Louisville. Remember when Louisville played good college basketball? It wasn't that long ago. NBA, the T-Wolves had enough. They had a pretty mediocre last 3 weeks. Yeah, they took it out on the Magic. They led by 30 at the half in Orlando. They won by 21, 113-92. The Magic have lost 9 of 14. The Knicks have won 5 in a row since making the trade with the Raptors. They beat Portland by 28. Sacramento trailed the Pistons by 20 and beat them by 21.
Pistons scored 47 in the first quarter.
And only scored 63 the rest of the way.
15 points in the fourth, 18 points in the second. How can you have that big of a discrepancy? Sorry.
I'll answer
Trent's
the
a
question.
Piston fan, everybody, in case you wondered.
No.
And it actually bothers him when they've lost now 33 of 34 games, and he still lets it bother him.
I'm a basketball purist. I just like to watch good basketball.
Then why do you watch the Pistons?
Yeah, really.
My team, and I wish they played good basketball.
Take a couple more years off. Trent, I believe you asked the question. The answer is because they're the Detroit Pistons. Memphis, by the way, went into Dallas without Ja because he's out for the rest of the year. They beat the Mavs by 17. If you haven't seen it, check out the tantrum that the head coach of the Toronto Raptors threw at the scorers table late in their loss to the Lakers last night, 132-131. He was a little upset at the officiating. Why, you ask? Well, the Lakers shot 23 free throws in the fourth quarter alone. You can go through many an NBA game where a team doesn't shoot 23 free throws. Lakers shot that in the fourth quarter. Shades of Bobby Knight at the scorers table in 87 against LSU in the Elite Eight. This guy was bent, hot. Check it out. Amuse yourself. NHL, good win for the Lightning. They were down 2-0 most of the night. 7 minutes to go. It's 2 spit. They scored twice to tie it.
And had one taken away, a goal that was disallowed on a goaltender interference. I mean, they battled.
Came back, won in overtime, 3-2 over the LA Kings. John Cooper's 500th win as head coach. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Oh, yeah.
That baby's done. Stay out of the Florida Panthers' way right now. They've won 8 in a row. Matthew Tkachuk with a hat trick in the third period. That's old school, baby. That's the original hat trick. 3 goals in a row in a period. 5-1 Florida over St. Louis.
2-pack of the Bruins now for best record in the Eastern Conference. They have just been playing unbelievable hockey.
And the Bruins got a point on the road last night in Arizona. They lost 4-3 in overtime. By the way, Jack Hughes of the Devils. See, this is how it works in hockey. See, when you play a home and home, and in the first game, the Devils take out the Blackhawks star player, Connor Bedard, broken jaw. He's going to miss a month.
It was a clean hit.
It was. No.
You sent me a text, and we haven't even talked about the Jimmy text. They ran Bedard. I'm like, oh, what happened? I looked. He didn't run anybody. He crossed the blue line. He ran into his shoulder. It was a clean hit.
I totally agree. But the Hawks lost their mind because Bedard ran into Brendan Smith's shoulder and broke his jaw. And he had his head down going through the middle of the ice. That's what happens. That's called hockey. Okay, but they don't hit in the regular season of the NHL anymore. And so since Connor Bedard had the audacity to run into Brendan Smith and break his own jaw, okay, the Blackhawks lost their mind. Well, they played 2 nights later. And Jack Hughes, the best player on the Devils, was hurt on a hit. Low upper body injury. He'll miss at least a month. Okay, now that's how hockey used to be played. Baseball. Remember Rachel Balkovec? The Yankees hired her to be the manager of their single-A team, Tampa in the Florida State League. They used to be the Tampa Yankees. I think they're now the Tampa Tarpons. Okay, she was their manager the last 2 years. She'd worked her way up through various organizations. The Yankees made her a minor league manager. That had never happened before. Well, the Marlins hired her away yesterday and made her director of their minor league farm system. Another hire from their new GM, Peter Bendix, who replaced Kim Ng because they were going to bring in a Peter Bendix to oversee Kim Ng. And Kim Ng said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Cubs are expected to sign Japanese lefty Shota Imanaga. He has until tomorrow to sign. So the fact that he's now entering negotiations with the Cubs, everybody's taking as an indication that that's where he's going to go. And Julio Urias, who's now a free agent, He's pitched his whole career with the Dodgers, a talented lefty. He will not face felony domestic violence charges, but he will face misdemeanor domestic violence charges. This is his second time beating up his wife. We'll see if anybody signs him and when he gets suspended by Major League Baseball. And finally, Mark, we didn't talk about this, but Tiger Woods has officially ended his 27-year deal with Nike, which began in Milwaukee in August of 96 when he said, "Hello, world." And reportedly, not done yet, he's going to sign with TaylorMade. 400 plus million is what's being reported. Also, Tiger strongly hinted, quote, "I'll see you in LA." That's when his tournament at Riviera takes place February 15th to the 18th. So we may get Tiger back playing golf in a month. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Loved the ad that Nike ran with Tiger. Just a picture of him with the arm up. It was a hell of a round.
It's funny, though. Nike tried to get into the golf business, and it didn't work. With Tiger Woods pitching what you're selling, and it didn't work. Miller and Moulton. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, next hour. Thanks for listening.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Steelers are 1-10 straight up when Watt doesn't play.
That seems like a telling stat.
It really does. What's the line in that game?
9.5, or it was before they announced he's out.
It's 10. I got 10 right now, but
money slowly coming in on the Chiefs. It's kind of 3.5 to 4.5.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton along the network. Thanks so much for being with us. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, to join us in about 35 minutes' time. Seth Everett, JP Shadrick, to join us next hour. Our poll question today. So the Titans fired Mike Vrabel, and after they fired him, they said, well, we thought about trading him, but we just thought the process would, take too long, and we might actually miss out on the guy we really wanted to hire. Oh, okay. So we took part of that and ran with it. So would you trade a first or second round pick for a head coach? It's our poll question. I would. Mark wouldn't. And the answer has always been no with Mark. For as long as I've known him. Before we did a show together, the answer was no. Even after
I think it's my hockey background that there's so many retreads, and having worked in the minors for so long, watching all of these really competent coaches never get an opportunity. So Jim Schoenfeld could get the 14th opportunity to be a head coach somewhere. At a point, it starts to bother me.
I guess it does. I love the fact you went Jim Schoenfeld. Look him up if you don't know.
But I think that you can find a coach without having to trade for a coach.
Okay.
And David has always been of the opinion that a great coach is worth a win or two more than everyone else, and he would trade for that coach.
Yes. Also, I view it this way. If we're trying to upgrade at every position on the field, why are we not trying to upgrade at coach? Like, you're the Bears. Mike Vrabel just became available. You going to tell me that Matt Eberflus is the equal of Mike Vrabel? Now, Vrabel inherited a better situation than what Eberflus inherited. I mean, Vrabel inherited, I think, a team that was around 9 wins. I think actually they got rid of their head coach and he took them to the playoffs and they got rid of him. So Eberflus inherited a mess, there's no doubt. But I mean, right now, Matt Eberflus or Mike Vrabel, who's better?
Mike Vrabel.
Okay. And this is kind of what I'm getting at here. If you're running a team and you think one of the 10 best coaches in the league just became available, and I think the league thinks Mike Vrabel is one of the 10 best head coaches, and you've got somebody 11 through 32. I mean, if you're looking to upgrade, you've got a good safety, but you have a chance to get your hands on a very good or great safety. Don't you do it?
Then let me ask you this question, David. If that's the case, and I understand why teams who have already fired coaches may be interested and teams that have not fired a coach like Chicago would be interested. Let's look at the teams that are going to lose this week as the potential destinations. And I say it for this reason. If you're right, David, then these are the teams that should be looking for the 1 to 2 game increase in wins because they're that close. The roster's there. They're a playoff roster. Why are they not winning in the postseason? Or are they getting to the postseason and losing? The Bills. If they were to get upset by the Steelers, which would be monumental, they're a 10-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Would you make that change then if you're the Bills?
Well, I'm not a huge McDermott guy, but I mean, his resume is pretty damn good. I don't think it's worth. I don't think he's worthy of replacing. It would be the second straight year that they lose a home playoff game that they weren't expected to lose. But no, I wouldn't.
Now the Bucks.
Get a chance to get your hands on Mike Vrabel. Yeah, I'd take Mike Vrabel over Todd Bowles. Yeah, it's an upgrade. You can't tell me it's not an upgrade. I think it's an upgrade. I don't think you can criticize me if I got rid of Todd Bowles and brought in Mike Vrabel. I could walk to the podium and go, listen, I think Todd Bowles is a good coach. I think he's a very good coach. We upgraded all the positions on the field. Why can't we upgrade at coach? And I might say to Vrabel, listen, could you live with this guy as our offensive coordinator for another year? Him and Baker seem to have some chemistry, and I don't know if I want Baker playing in yet another new system. You know, that might be part of it, but okay. Come on, ask the tough one, though. Ask the tough one.
Oh, if the Bucks beat the Eagles.
Well, I mean, I think he's going to get fired if they lose. I do. I've said it for 2 weeks. Something's going on there, and I don't like Nick's chances of surviving it. Because when something goes on in Philly, Howie Roseman blames other people. It's not Howie's players, okay? Put it that way. Never mind if the guy in New England becomes available. I'd bet large amounts of money that Nick Sirianni's fired. But how about Miami? Mike McDaniel, Mike Vrabel. Now, what complicates it is McDaniel calls the plays on offense.
Yeah, I wouldn't make the move.
I wouldn't either. Do I think Vrabel's a better coach? Yes, I do. But I wouldn't make the move. Not yet.
The other one is if the Packers win on.
Well,
oh boy.
That's, man, win 12 games, 3 consecutive regular seasons, but lose in the first round twice at home. Whoo-wee. Yeah, I don't know if Mike survives that one. I think at the very least he moves Dan Quinn over to replace him. He makes change because we got to make a change.
Do you think Jerry would want Mike Vrabel? Because of his attitude?
Not over Dan Quinn.
I don't think
he knows Dan, and he knows Dan will play by Jerry's rules.
Exactly. I don't think Jerry would be able to manipulate Vrabel enough. Vrabel would not let that fly.
By the way, here's the one that we haven't brought up. Ohio State Nation went nuts yesterday afternoon when Mike Vrabel became available. They're like, let's get him. He's better than Ryan Day. He'll beat Michigan. We ain't losing if Vrabel's our coach. That was the fun one yesterday. I'm like, no, that's that's playing hardball right there. Because Ryan Day's a very good coach. Come on now. Look at his recruiting. They went to, won 11 games this year. He's been there how many years? I don't think he's lost 10 games yet. But Mark, do Ohio State fans think Ryan Day's good enough?
No.
No, they don't.
No, they don't, David. And let's be honest. A lot of us think that you and I could go to Ohio State and win 10 or 11 games with that roster.
Well, they do get good players there. Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm.
Plus, you want to talk about a fan base that's in angst right now, that's in disgust with what just happened with Michigan.
And where did Mike Vrabel play his college ball, Mark? And
that'd be Ohio State.
When he was an assistant coach in college, where did he do that coaching at? And the head coach at the time, I believe, was Urban Meyer. How was Ohio State faring against their arch rival when Mike Vrabel was an assistant under Urban Meyer?
Well, they fared really well.
Yeah.
And how are they faring now that Ryan Day's the head coach?
Well, not as well. not as well. So that was the one that I found. Everybody's talking about the Bears or the Falcons or whatever. Well, to me, that's obvious. I mean, they have an opening in Atlanta. Why in the world wouldn't they? They think they can do better than Mike Vrabel? But the Ohio State one, now I'm like, oh, now we're talking. This is hardball. How all in are you? Because this is, I think it's unfair of Ryan Day to say that he's Mark Richt. But he's close. Rick couldn't get him to the level where Kirby got him to quickly. And that's why they made the move. I mean, he won 9.5 to 10 games a year on average for 15 years. And he's a good man. You can't find 3 people to say something bad about Mark Richt. But Georgia wanted to be elite. Ohio State doesn't just want to be elite. They want to beat Michigan and be elite.
Yeah, Ohio State's already, they understand they're going to be in the college football playoff every year.
Right. So we just need a guy to beat Michigan and then win games in December and January.
Yep.
An interesting parallel here. Vrabel obviously hasn't been to a Super Bowl, but he's a very established NFL coach, as David's laid out all morning. Wouldn't that be very similar to what Harbaugh going back to Michigan was like? You're going back to your alma mater to try to raise them back up after a little bit of a lull.
Well, I like how we're talking about a little bit of a lull for Ohio State.
They've
lost
11-2 this year.
Right. I don't even count the bowl game.
No.
But straight to Michigan, to your guys' point, that's what matters.
Don't even count the bowl game.
Right? I don't.
Once again,
I don't either.
The bowl games count for certain conferences and teams when they want them to count, and then they don't when they don't want them to count. It's just funny because the injuries count for Florida State. But anyway.
Well, I don't count that bowl game for Florida State either. I don't.
I'm with you. Hey, listen, I didn't bring this up last week because I thought I'd get mocked. But I'm wondering, should we count the bowl games at all?
No.
I mean,
they're
really?
Exhibitions now.
And you're not playing your guys.
They are glorified spring exhibitions, David. That's all they are now.
I mean, the 2023 Knowles were 13-0. I mean, that team, come on, that wasn't the same team that went 13-0. It wasn't even close.
And it's not close to what next year's team is because the transfer players aren't there yet.
So I'm wondering if we should even count the bowl games at all besides the playoff games.
I wouldn't. They will.
Yeah, of course.
Because coaches' bonuses are tied into how many games they win and things of that nature.
It's funny. They're never tied into the losses. They're only tied into the wins. It's funny how that works.
They can also sell a lot of T-shirts that have the Peach Bowl logo on it.
Miller and Moulton. So anyway, that's our question. Would you trade a draft pick, first or second round pick? Would you trade a top draft pick for a coach? That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FloridaSportsNetwork.com. So there.
We are split as always. I wouldn't. David would. Matt Cannata in 25 minutes. Seth Everett, JP Shadrick coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Thanks for listening. Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So yesterday I had to go get new tires on my car, and they come out to like check on the tread, just because they log all that stuff. They were like, "It is a miracle that you haven't blown a tire." I was like, "Look, I've been trying to get in here for a while, but it was kind of embarrassing." Then they're like, "Your rims are also super warped, so we got to figure that out too." And I was just like, "Oh boy."
Oh boy. Did they figure it out?
Yeah, I just got new rims.
Okay.
But it was just, the guy was like, "It is a miracle that you
So
haven't."
you got another 25, 30,000 miles on that car.
Yeah, hopefully. As long as I'm not driving to Nashville and back, because the 2 times I've done that, we've broken down.
That's done.
This is very, I think Bruce Irvin, you guys will probably make fun of me for this. Bruce Irvin might be able to make a play or two for the Dolphins on Sunday because he, in the 2 games he played with the Lions, was good. Got a couple quarterback hits and a sack, and he was playing like very limited snaps. So maybe he could do something for Miami. We'll see. Just rotate him in every now and then.
Well, the good news is they're not playing a good offense.
Right?
They're not.
It really sucks as a football fan, too, because that game overseas could have gone either way, and you're not getting a fair rematch. The X factor that I do think still should hold a decent amount of weight is Tyreek Hill going to come in there and just be the villain and ruin the Chiefs' season, their nightmare season.
Hang on to the
cherry
ball.
on top. Yeah,
Man,
it's been a problem. I think his drop rate is at a career high this year.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He'll be fine, huh? He's got his Dolphins hoodie. Whew. Good luck.
Oh, well, if you've got a hoodie, you should be fine in that weather.
The Dolphins haven't seen their breath all season. And they're going to see it crystallizing in the air.
Oh.
The first time the hair in your nose freezes,
Oh,
okay, it really does
here we go.
shock you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. I mean, he only founded the thing. He only runs it. He'll join us in about 15 minutes' time. So, Trent, yesterday at this time, you could have gotten $550 for your Lions tickets. It's up over $600 now, just so you know. Most expensive wild card game ever on the secondary market. Lions' first playoff game in 30 years in Detroit. At the same time, on the secondary market, I mean, Dolph fan or just NFL fan, you've never seen Mahomes in person, never been to Arrowhead. It's cool, neat experience. Parking lot smells great. Great barbecue. They're friendly. You could walk through the parking lot. They offer you free food and beer. Honestly, you could stuff your face before walking into that game for free. $74 for an NFL playoff game.
$74.
$74 and get you in the upper deck.
How much of that has to do with the temperature?
What do you mean, how much? 100%.
100%. Do you know, I can't even imagine how cold upper deck, upper bowl seats are when it's zero.
Get the wind blowing a little bit.
Because I grew up as a kid. My grandfather had Michigan State. My whole fandom to Michigan State comes from both my grandfathers. My one grandfather went to Michigan State. My other grandfather was a high school football coach who knew the great Michigan State coaches and started going to games long before I was around. And our seats were on the 50-yard line upstairs, which were great seats from a coaching standpoint. They loved to see everything break out and the holes open and all that stuff. Come November, it was a little crispy.
Not as good?
Not as good. I can't imagine in January what sitting up there would be like. And that's what's going to be the weather in Kansas City for the Dolphins and Chiefs.
Well, I'll tell you, though, that Chiefs fan base, you have to be an absolute diehard to go to this because they've had a somewhat of a nightmare, disappointing season by their standards. And they're some of them, to a degree, are probably disgusted with the team. And they're not going to go sit in that weather to watch a 10-7 Chiefs team.
Wait a minute. What are we? The 3 seed? We're the 3 seed?
Right,
Get rid of the damn tickets. The 3 seed. What the heck? Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes were the 3 seed? Those underachieving blankety blanks.
But it's the only home game they'll get.
That's it. I mean, they could host the AFC title game with a series of upsets, but they're not hosting the divisional round. Although, actually, they could if Pittsburgh upsets Buffalo. I guess it's,
Right. Pittsburgh's 1-10 all time when Watt's out of the lineup.
And they're a 10-point dog at Buffalo. And, we all think it ends Sunday early afternoon. But Chiefs have had a lot of luck, though, in the playoffs. They weren't supposed to host games. They ended up hosting. There's at least 2 AFC championship games that were not supposed to be in Kansas City. But anyway, so $74. What if I said, guys, I got this. Tickets, hotel, and flights. I got it.
I would totally go.
You'd go.
Yeah, you just said you're paying for everything.
I would eat the parking lot for free.
I did. Well, we would try. We would. There's no doubt. We would try to eat in the parking lot for free. If not, I'd take you to Q39 the night before. It's where Andy Reid's favorite barbecue place. It's really good.
I'm in. Let's go.
It's really
Get that credit
good.
card out. You talk about all the time, all this credit you have. Let's start using it, Moulton.
Okay, so I'm just saying. So you in? So we're going? Because I can get us 4 tickets. Okay.
I would love to be in the situation where the three of us are in a NFL stadium when it's 0 degrees outside, and
you wouldn't be able to see me. Belichick's outfit with the ski mask that was holding his eyes, I would be one past that. I would have the full mask on with just 2 little slits that I could see out of, and 1 little slit so I could breathe.
You're saying Belichick's outfit Sunday was too revealing.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So just once again to review, we're talking 0 to 5 degree temperature. We're talking wind chill that will be roughly 8 to 12 below. That's walking through the parking lot. The tickets I'm going to get, guys, are like section 326, row 18. Just so you know.
I get to sit next to Moulton. He's big. He's going to put off a lot of warmth, Trent. I'm just telling you, we could sandwich you in the middle. You'd be fine.
I was going to say, I want to be in the middle.
So
otherwise, I might shrivel up and die.
Trent's like, I'll be the middle seat. I'm okay. I'll be the middle seat. So just so you know, how many of you, even if I was paying, would be like, yeah, sign me up. Let's go. Let's do this. By the way, we're going, which means, we're going to get there at least an hour and a half before kickoff. I mean, there's 5 hours outdoors. Just so you know, we're not leaving early. We're not showing up at kickoff. By the way,
wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're not leaving early.
No. No, it's an NFL playoff game.
Right, but if the game's decided.
Okay, if 4 or 5 minutes left, but I mean, we're not, if it's 31-3 late third quarter and you go, hey, what do you say? I'd be like, no.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If it's 31-3 late third quarter, I'm in the parking lot looking for some of that barbecue.
Okay, just so you know, it's 4 degrees out there too.
That's all right.
Still blowing.
That's all right.
Okay.
You're moving. You're walking around.
They've got a fire. Someone's got a fire going somewhere.
Yeah. Also, that's the toughest parking lot to get out of in the NFL. Just so you know, that's usually put it in park. You might as well just stay for 2 hours and eat afterwards because you ain't moving.
What, now your car doesn't have heat?
I'm just saying, we're probably going to have to Uber. It'll be much faster to Uber. They drop you off up on the hill, okay, next to the parking lot. You walk down the hill and walk through the parking lot.
Now I got to climb a hill?
Yeah, it's
I'm in. I'm still in, barely.
All right.
I'm in. We would get to go see the greatest quarterback or the best, most talented quarterback, however you want to put it, play a playoff game. I'd be in.
Okay. All right. How many of you would join us? We have a spot open. We're like Trent with the 4 tickets. He's giving it away apparently to a brother's girlfriend. Has she been kicked off the game yet?
Has your dad kicked her out of the game yet?
No.
What?
Guys, she is as big of a fan as we are.
Who
I don't
cares?
This.
She's not even a fiance.
She might as well be.
Well, then put a ring on it by Sunday or Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
I'm so disappointed in your father.
That's unbelievable.
Send him a text. Twist his arm.
Yeah, really. Call him up. All right. Well, now we'll see what his son's got up his sleeve. Time now for the play of the day.
David is so
unbelievable.
Disgusted. I have learned to keep an eye on the Florida teams for the play of the day.
Hey!
We had a lot of great upsets in college hoops last night. I would have loved to pick something from that, but the 3-time Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning won in overtime. So I'm going to make like Metallica and ride the Lightning. It was a sellout crowd in Tampa. What's new? The Lightning get down 2-0 to the Kings, but force OT, and it was the American Nick Perbix who was the hero. Here's Michigan on the call.
Hagel looking to find a teammate. Hagel stays with it, goes to Perbix, right circle. Perbix is step in front. Backhand shot. Score! Score! Nick Perbix! He wins the game for the Lightning! 3-2 in overtime!
That was a fun highlight to edit because I had to change the levels on everything. Lightning win, get to 45 points. That's good for 4th in the Atlantic. And there's your play of the day presented by Molly Maid.
Call Molly Maid today, 774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. And give your spouse the gift of a clean house.
See what we did there? We're looking out for you guys. Got to spend about $6-7, okay? A shekel or two. And trust me, it'll be worth it. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. We'll ask him if he'd sit outside at the Dolphins game.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. I need 2 sets of hand warmers, one for the shoes, one for the hands.
Well, they make the foot ones where you can literally stick it onto like
really?
It has sticky on it.
Ooh,
yeah, I guess you've been in Florida for 20 years. You don't really, you're not
the advances are I'm not aware of all the advances in hand and foot warmers.
The innovation that it's undergone up north.
Mark's like, I moved to Florida in '98 for a reason, so I could stop paying attention to all of that.
Yeah, they make foot warmers that are, it's shaped, it's arched, and you peel off a little sticky thing and stick it to your socks so it doesn't move around.
Trent,
it works pretty well.
Remember how sometimes you say things and we go, "Oh, that's cute." That's
Yeah.
what Mark's little voice in his head is saying right now. You're talking about the stuff. You're going, "Oh, that's cute."
No, if Pittsburgh hosts Kansas City next year and I go up and see Mahomes play, I might need those. I was so happy when we were there and the weather was 45, 50 degrees. It was great.
I was just going to ask you, so how did you handle Christmas Eve?
The weather was fine.
Great.
On the 23rd. It really was. I mean,
now imagine it about 50 degrees colder.
No, I mean, I had a long sleeve t-shirt, a hoodie, so a sweatshirt, hoodie, and a jacket. And I was fine. Fine.
Here's a question. Do you have enough clothing in your house to go on this trip with me, or would you have to go purchase stuff?
I would have to go purchase clothing. Basically just long underwear. I think I could get by with everything else.
I would have my parents overnight ship it down here because I have it, but it's just that was one of the really fun things about packing to move here was I didn't have to bring half my wardrobe. Seriously.
Correct.
I brought all my t-shirts and shorts. That's it. One pair of jeans.
I've not seen him in pants since he's been here. It's been cold in the morning. He's got shorts and a T-shirt on.
Because for him, it's not cold.
Next year I'll be acclimated, but right now this is summer in the Midwest. 65, a little breeze, a little rain, and worse.
To our Lake City audience, which is about 50 miles west of Jacksonville, like it's 47 here right now. In fact, I don't even know if it's that warm. That's what my computer says it is. High today of like 54.
What is the high today? I'm playing golf. I need better weather than that.
Should be in the 70s.
70 is the high.
Okay. Well, the game's Saturday night, Steve. So, we'd have to get there. In theory, we'd get there Friday in time to go to Q39. Mark would love Q39. God, it's good.
Yeah, we're getting rain tomorrow too. All right. Then it gets nice again. I'll look at that Friday, 78.
Did you see the GIF that Cannata sent out about coming on the show?
I did not.
It's boy, this Alzheimer's is really getting to me. It's DiCaprio in Wall Street, okay, when he's screaming into the microphone and banging the microphone on against his head. Okay.
That Raptors coach continued it in the post-game presser too.
He's got a Yugoslavic accent too. It's pretty funny.
And
to
he went 30 seconds scorched earth.
He did. He said if they want to basically rig it like that, just let us know and we won't even come to the game. He was not happy. Okay, here we go. Matt's ready.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Seth Everett joins us at the top of the hour. JP Shadrick, part of the Jags Radio Network, joins us 1 hour from now. He joined us for a year straight. Then he got too big. It's one thing running Pro Football Network. He had time for us. But when he started running Pro Football Network and College Football Network, he had to start, having others make the appearance on our show. But before the regular season, Matt Cannata raised his hand. He said, I'm coming on. Before the playoffs, Matt Cannata raises his hand. He says, I'm coming on. Pro Football Network, collegefootballnetwork.com. Follow Matt Cannata on Twix, Twitter/X at Cannata, 2 N's, 1 T, Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. How the heck are you?
Hey guys, it's been a while, but I'm back.
All right, we've had a question. I don't know if you were listening leading up to this segment. So we can get tickets, Dolphins, Chiefs, like $70. All right. We're getting 4 of them. The 3 of us associated with the show are going. We got 1 spot left open. We'll pay for everything. Airfare, hotel, tickets. Okay. Free ticket to the game Saturday night. Would you go?
If I wanted to leave my family behind and never see them again because I froze to death, sure.
It will be the coldest game that the Dolphins will have ever played in.
Yeah. Their last one was in Kansas City too, right?
Exactly. I think in 08 or 07, it was like 10 degrees.
That was Big Ten. Yeah, I remember that game.
This is going to be colder. It's going to be at night. How big is the weather effect? I mean, the Dolphins are banged up. Their chances are hurting going into this game. How much more does it hurt given the fact that the weather is going to be what it is in your estimation, Matt?
Because I was trying to think about that yesterday because I knew you probably asked this on the show. And I'm like, I've lived in Connecticut my whole life, and I have family who lives down in Florida, and I think maybe you guys have lived in Florida your entire life, perhaps. And, when it's like 20 degrees, 30 degrees, yeah, we could deal with it. But I don't think anybody is adaptable to -5 or 0 degrees, right? You can't ever get used to that. And that's why I think it's going to be -5 of all teams, right? And when you come down to Miami Gardens to play in the summer and in the early fall, it's super hot, right? And certainly your bodies adapt to that at some point. But when it's 100 degrees, 110 degrees, the bodies aren't meant to get used to that. They're not meant to adapt to that kind of weather. So the weather is obviously, yes, it's going to be a factor in the way the teams attack each other, in the way the players hit each other, in the way the players play, right? Some may pull up before getting hit. Some may just go all out, and that's when you know that player truly loves the game and loves hitting people. But in terms of, is it going to favor the Chiefs? Is it going to hurt the Dolphins? I don't think so. I don't think, -5 is something where one team can have an advantage over the other. It's going to be absolutely brutal for both teams.
For what it's worth, in the 5 years I spent in Fargo, North Dakota, that I made the determination, if you overheat because it's hot with air conditioning and water and what have you, you can kind of get back to whatever. Once you get cold, it seemingly took longer for me to warm up than it did for me to cool down, if you know what I mean. So I'll be curious for these players, once they get cold, how it is they respond. Matt, do the Dolphins just have enough personnel to win this game?
Yeah, so there's a certain point where you can't overcome injuries, right? And they brought in Bruce Irvin. They brought in Justin Houston. Several years ago, this would have been an all-star team. They might as well bring in Cameron Wake back as well for whatever it's worth. But I think the Chiefs also have a lot of injuries that they're dealing with too, right? You look at Isaiah Pacheco. You look at Rashee Rice. I mean, they were full participants, but they are battling from injuries. And of course, every time at this time of the year, there's a lot of teams that are battling injuries. Now, the Dolphins just happen to have it to their star players, right? You got Jalen Waddle, you got Raheem Mostert, you got Teron Armstead, who's been injured his whole career, it seems like, Javon Holland, Xavier Howard. So certainly it doesn't help Miami that their injuries are to their star players. But if you look at the injury report from yesterday, right? You had about 6 limited practices, which is a really good sign. You had Armstead, Elliott, Javon Holland, and X who did not practice. Now, Armstead, that's probably a maintenance day, right? They're probably giving some Javon Holland some rest. And Deshaun Elliott, he did play, but he tweaked his calf in pregame warmups versus the Bills. I'm not too concerned about those. I'm concerned a little bit about Xavier Howard, right? I think they're going to need him on the field. But I think at the end of the day, too, and this is going to be a super unpopular opinion because I mentioned this on my Twitter feed and I got blown up. But I think the Chiefs I know the Chiefs are a much, much better match for the Dolphins than the Bills would have been this week. I don't think it's a question. I don't think it's close. And I think the Dolphins have way better of a chance to beat the Chiefs. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying they have way better of a chance to beat the Chiefs than they would have against the Bills, even when they are at home.
Matt, I was with you heading into last week. I thought that they were going to lose to the Bills and beat the Chiefs. I said it on the air last week before the game ever happened. But with the injuries, and you brought up the big names, the way their linebacking core's gone down, it's going to be difficult. I mean, Kelsey's not had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
But with what Miami has to cover him, how do they stop a team that's had trouble offensively, but now with the linebackers being out, if X is out, this is going to be a difficult ask for this Dolphin team to be able to stop anyone.
It is. So certainly Fangio's going to get super creative this game, but I think if you maybe shadow Kelsey with somebody, right? Maybe, and I know Ramsey, that's not his game, but maybe you have to suck it up for this game and have Ramsey shadow him, right? Or if Javon Holland is back there, the Patriots always like to take one of their safeties and shadow, one of the best players on the offense. That's what Belichick does, whether it's single coverage or double coverage. So maybe it's Javon Holland shadowing Kelsey, but I think you have to. I think you have to eliminate that threat first, right? And then you look at the receivers. Rashee Rice, yeah, he's a good player. He's nothing home to write about. Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney, we all know his troubles and everything else. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Like, this receiving core does not strike fear into any kind of defense. So if you eliminate Kelsey, and certainly at the running back position, you got Pacheco, who's a nice little spry player, right? You got Edwards-Helaire, who's fine. But I would force the Chiefs to beat the Dolphins with their running game and with Mahomes just making magic, right? Certainly that catches up to you when you try to make too much magic. But I would actually try to put the ball into Mahomes' hands, but taking Kelsey out of the game completely with single or double coverage. I would deploy the Bill Belichick defensive strategy against the Chiefs.
He's Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, College Football Network. You can follow those two sites, by the way, at PFN 365 and CFN 365. You can follow Matt on Twitter/X at Cannata 2Ns1T, Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. Doesn't Mike McDaniel need to coach differently than he has most of his tenure? He's got to run the ball this week, Matt. They have a clear advantage running the ball against the Chiefs. If you look at the numbers, the passing game, it is not going to be what it normally is under these conditions. Don't they have to run the ball?
You would hope so, right? I mean, you had 100+ rushing yards in the first half against the Bills, and then Devon Achane had 2 carries in the second half, I think it was, right? And I was watching Hard Knocks again last night. I watched a little bit of 22 from last game, and it's like Dolphins were dominating in the first half. Like, what was the big change in the second half? Certainly the Bills adjusted their defensive strategy, but to have just that minimal amount of rushing attempts and rushing yards in the second half, that's a red flag. And McDaniels, the frustrating part is that he has admitted it time and time again this season in his press conferences that he needs to run the ball more, that he needs to stop passing so much. And then when he does pass, it always doesn't work out. So that's super frustrating to read about, to hear about, and then to see him continue to do that stuff on game day. It's going to be -5. The ball is going to be rock solid hard, more rock solid hard than it already is. Players are going to have a really tough time catching the ball. You are absolutely correct. Mostert, Achane, and Jeff Wilson need to form that trio that just pounds the ball throughout the game. And even the offensive line is playing at a super high level, regardless of how banged up they are. Put the ball in their hands. Let them go win the game. I think if you stayed true to the run game in the second half against the Bills, regardless of the looks they were giving you, and just kept pounding it, this would have been a different outcome on Sunday. Although I do think if they did win that game, we'd be talking about them losing this coming weekend versus the Bills anyway. So I think it ends up working out for the Dolphins, but we'll have to see.
Let's go all the way to Monday night, because as we're talking about the Dolphins, the one team everybody's talking about nationally is what's going on with the Eagles and how they're crumbling around their head coach heading into Tampa. Can they right the ship?
So I think, I don't have any inside information on this, but I think just from observations, just by reading, just from informed speculation, I think Sirianni's totally lost that locker room. I think they're going to lose. And honestly, I think a surprise firing will be Sirianni this year. I think they may have already made a decision. I just, once you lose the locker room and once you lose the support of your star players, like A.J. Brown, who has publicly called out the coaching staff, and there's some rumblings that he's lost the respect and voice of Jalen Hurts as well. Once you lose that, there's no coming back from that, right? And I think Sirianni has lost that. I think this is a team that is not playing motivated. I think it's a team that knows it's what's happening in the inner walls of that team is just not great, and it's being kept from us on the outside for sure. But I think Howie Roseman has made the decision already. I think they're just waiting for the season to end. And I would not be the least bit surprised if Nick Sirianni is fired next week if they lose to the Bucs.
Our poll question is, would you give up a first or second round draft pick for a coach? It was inspired by the Titans out loud yesterday afternoon saying, well, we thought about trading Mike Vrabel. We just thought it would take too long, and it's probably just better if both sides move on. First off, would you trade a draft pick for a coach? And secondly, Mike Vrabel. I mean, I would, like we talked about in Tampa. I mean, Todd Bowles done a good job, but Mike Vrabel's better. I mean, we could go through the list here, Matt. So first off, would you trade a pick if a guy like Vrabel was on the market? And secondly, what would you do about Mike Vrabel?
Yeah, I mean, certainly first round picks have a higher success rate, but as you get deeper into round one, that rate goes down, right? And so when you have to look at the percentages of draft picks actually working out the way you expect them to, it is not that high, right? And that's why teams like the Patriots try to accumulate as many draft picks as possible to throw as many darts as possible. When you look at, the proven history of someone's work, it's almost like, me hiring for a position. I'm going to want to pay a little more money to someone who's much more experienced, who has done the work before, and who can step in day one and do the job, versus trying to groom somebody and paying them less money and trying to teach them on the job and let them make mistakes on the job, right? Especially, depending on where your roster is at the time. And so for someone like Vrabel, I would absolutely consider it, right? For someone like Sean Payton, for the Belichick, or there's questions about Belichick, Shanahan, those kind of coaches, you absolutely have to look at that. And if you have a low first-round draft pick or a second-round draft pick, I think that's a move you have to make because they're proven their experience. And here's the thing, right? We look at the Steelers and what they've had 3 head coaches in their franchise's history, and it's because of continuity. I don't think a coach just becomes a bad coach all overnight. It just sometimes the roster is just not good enough, and they have to work through that. They have to battle through that. You got to give them time to get that roster straight again, right? Vrabel was the coach of the year 2 years ago, right? Well, not even 2 years ago, about a year. 2023, he was named coach of the year for the 2022 season. Now he's out of a job. It sounds like a lot of politics behind the scenes. Sounds like the GM wasn't, fully aligned with that, and it was the owner who made the ultimate call there. But Vrabel, he is the top head coach on the market right now, in my opinion. And I would not be surprised if that influences Bob Kraft's decision to move on from Belichick to then go after Mike Vrabel to bring him back to New England.
Is Jim Harbaugh coaching in the NFL next year? And if so, where?
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Because you can look at it 2 ways, right? You can look at it him throwing leverage like he usually does against Michigan to try to get the next largest contract in the universe or whatever the case might be for him. And then you look at the other side of, are there sanctions coming down and does he know about them? And if there are sanctions coming down, why would he want to stay at Michigan? He just won a national championship. Yes, he can be king in college football for the rest of his life, right? Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, will do anything that he can to keep Harbaugh at Michigan. Ross, the Michigan alum, has a business center named after him and so forth at Michigan. That's the second team that he feels like he is has a large voice in. But he hired an agent this year. That's the difference, right? He hired Don Mead to be Tom Brady's agent. He has him going out there now, sporting offers. I think if the right team comes along and makes the right offer, I think Harbaugh is going to have a really, really hard time saying no, especially knowing the competitor that he is, knowing that he just won a national championship, and knowing that he needs to go back to the NFL and take care of some unfinished business.
Matt Cannata, ProFootballNetwork.com, CollegeFootballNetwork.com, PFN365, CFN365. Follow Matt on Twix at Cannata, 2 N's, 1 T, Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. Matt, thanks. Appreciate it. Stay warm. Stay safe. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, give me a couple for the Super Bowl. Let's talk Dolphins matchup on that one, whoever's playing again.
Okay. Lie down. You've hit your head, obviously. You need to lie down.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. Seth Everett is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Bonjour.
Hola.
Hola.
Shalom.
Konnichiwa.
I can't think of any others. My kids have a delayed opening today. Flooding.
Oh.
Some major flooding. Not here, though. We look to be clear.
Did you get any snow?
3 or 4 days ago we did. But it's all washed away now because yesterday was like a monsoon. It was
it was
4
a
or
rain
5
event?
inches of rain, but on top of melted snow, and there's floods everywhere. It's ugly. That snow was like a heavy snow. It was like a halfway out snow. It sucked.
How's your daughter handling the Jack Hughes injury?
Oh yeah, it's a sad subject. Well, my little one asked if he would still play in the All-Star game. That was a fair question.
That's alarming.
Yeah, well, it was a fair question. She's 12. And then the vote, the fan vote came out, and like Luke Hughes is the only one on it. Like Jesper Bratt, Nico Heischer, none of them are on it. And she says, "But there's so many fans." I said, "Not really.
No,
not really. You're in an exclusive club." I'm going to California this weekend for a wedding. Wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. Leaving Friday, coming back late Sunday night.
Where in California?
Montecito.
Okay. It's where Meghan and Harry live.
Oh, that's so nice. My wife's been watching Suits.
Yeah.
Megan's in it a lot.
Yeah, well, she looks good in the Suits.
Oh, but do we have a minute? There's a really funny line about King Charles from that Welcome to Wrexham show. King Charles met Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, And Charles went up to Rob McElhenney and says, "Are you from Philadelphia?" And he goes, "Well, I grew up there, but I live in California." And he goes, "I hear it's always sunny there."
You know what? For him, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I was really impressed.
I mean, the bar's low, but, he met it.
Ryan Reynolds said that was actually funny.
That is funny because you wouldn't be because of the expectations of what's coming next.
Right. Oh, I was like, what?
King, are we doing witty repartee?
Here we go.
It was funny.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour is an hour away for the 239. JP Shadrick, part of the Jags radio network, will join us in about 35 minutes' time, but this day and time is reserved for Seth Everett. He of Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X, at Seth_Everett. We were talking last hour, and if we have to call it X, don't we have to come up? It's no longer tweets, right? We got to come up with something. But what the heck do you come up with?
I call them tweets. I call it Twitter. And I don't care what that jerk says. It doesn't influence the way I act or anything. The posts and the this and the this. I think it's supposed to be called posts, but I reserve posts for the other social media. I don't care. I don't care. Okay. Elon can go straight to blank.
I know you're a big fan.
Yeah.
And now everyone else knows it as well. So good. All right, we're off to a good start. Hey, I only got 12 more minutes left. What do you say we break into like anti-Semitism next? Oh, no. I digress.
Oh, boy. This is starting off swimmingly. Good to see I get the follow-up from that.
Hey, are I'll steer this ship. Are you guys all set with all your complaints from your listeners/viewers on subscribing to Peacock on Saturday?
Peacock, baby! Ha ha! I think they're in denial.
It's weird. It's weird that the Chiefs Dolphins was in Germany on NFL Network and now it's on Peacock. It's almost like the NFL doesn't want this rivalry to emerge.
It is fascinating because, Seth, I don't think people have fully comprehended that Saturday night's going to come, and unless you're in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, I believe the way I've read it, if you're in Palm Beach, you're not getting the game. Obviously, on the in Southwest Florida, you're not getting the game. So I think people are going to be caught off guard. I really do.
I do too. And, the NFL announced this months ago. Months ago, they said that there would be a game. And it wasn't until there was a matchup that people started to recognize that. Peacock's harder than Amazon Prime because most people, as reticent as you are to cord cutting, you have Amazon Prime. You get it for the shipping. You have it. A majority of people do. This is totally different. And, my question that I've asked is, what's in it for Peacock? Sure, there's a payday because I don't think you can do the 7-day free trial to get the game. I think you have to buy a month. Okay, that's money. I understand that. But if I'm not interested in Peacock, I'm not subscribing to it. Do they think it's like that Sirius XM idea where, they'll give you 3 free months in your car and people ignore it, and then the next thing you know, they're paying $9 a month for it? Is that what Peacock's strategy is? Because what's in it for them?
Well, what I find interesting is those that are, I'd call sports fans, where it's more than just football. They have experienced, and we've talked about this a few times. If you're a baseball fan, all the blackouts. Mark through his setup doesn't get what? You don't get the
I don't get
hockey
the Florida
anymore.
Panthers, but I get the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right.
Makes no sense.
There isn't a whole
so-
lot. I mean, maybe 20 miles difference from where I live from one arena to
Right.
the other, but I'm not in either market. I'm not.
So he's blacked out for Heat and Panthers, but he can get the Lightning and the Rays. And so I'll find this very interesting. Those like Mark that are, I mean, you'll be blacked out where you live in certain sports, okay, or you're not blacked out where you live in certain sports, but you're all going to be blacked out for this one. So why is that? I mean, honestly, as a sports fan, I'd be looking at baseball and hockey and be like, "Hey, come on, man! I mean, either you're in or you're out."
These those blackout rules are antiquated, and both Gary Bettman and Manfred have said that's a big thing that they want to address. It has to do with RSNs and what the RSNs want to protect and all this other nonsense, and it's silly, but wow.
And by the way,
This one's going to be like an angry mob. The old man on the porch yelling about the Friday night game on Apple TV Plus for baseball, that was one thing. This is on a whole nother level.
well, they might have picked the best game, though, for this reason. First off, they picked a game in which they thought they'd actually get people to pay the money for Peacock. I mean, they're trying to get Peacock some bang on their $110 million investment. But, the Dolphin fans already dispirited after the way the season's ended, all the injuries. They don't think their team's got much of a chance. The Chiefs fan, first off, Seth, have you ever been to that part of the country? I mean, they're 20 miles outside of Kansas City's nothing. I mean, basically, I think everybody who lives there is covered, if you know what I mean. They don't live elsewhere, and they think they're going to be playing the next week.
Right.
But very quickly yesterday, there was supposed to be the court hearing about like the RSNs, the big court, and it got postponed for 10 more days.
Yep.
I mean, Mark, we still have the Rangers, the Padres. They have no idea. In Texas's case, apparently it's $100 million that is going to be decided. $100 million.
Yep.
Well, and if I got this right, Amazon was attempting to bail them out. MLB didn't want that.
Yeah, well, Amazon pulled out. The problem that baseball has is if they give a deal to 16 teams, let's just for the sake of the argument, a number, and then the 14 teams that say, well, we still have a profitable RSN, we don't want it. It's almost two playing fields. And what, at least from my perspective, you're going to get is you're subsidizing money for the teams that don't have a traditional RSN, and the traditional RSN teams like the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mets are saying, wait a second, we built that brand. We have that. We earn that money, and it's almost like you have two separate leagues. It's two separate playing fields, definitely in terms of finances. Yeah, baseball to me is, because of the lack of a salary cap, I think baseball is going to have more economic inequity than they've ever had, and they've had that for 30 years.
Should baseball buy out these RSNs?
They can't. They can't afford it. The Yankee one makes a ton of money. The Nesson
No.
one makes a ton
I'm
of
not
money.
saying buy the 14 that are profitable. I'm saying for the 16 that are about to go under over the course of the next 1 to 3 years, should baseball just buy them? Okay, and then this way, baseball controls it. Baseball gets all the revenue, and baseball can then just cut checks to those 16 teams.
Right. I talked to a sports business guy, and what his point on that was, why should baseball buy it? Why shouldn't baseball buy it in conjunction with hockey and basketball? Why should baseball take ownership of it when hockey and basketball have the same RSNs? It's the same networks that are airing these games.
Why doesn't one of them? I mean, to be really honest, I understand what you're saying. Why isn't one of them jumping out in front of this and trying to control the revenue for three sports instead of just one?
I think they're trying to play chicken and see who will bite. Because, again, buying an RSN is not a smart move. Remember the genesis of where this all came from. When Disney bought Fox, Fox had to sell its RSNs. That was a law because it was a conflict with their ownership of ESPN. So Sinclair came in and created the Bally Sports Networks. And that was a dumb move then. If I could ever uncover one aspect of this whole thing is, why did Sinclair buy those networks then? Cord cutting was growing then. What were you doing then? What did you think you could do then? And then don't forget, you also have the Warner Brothers Discovery wants to get rid of their RSNs and all their sports. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but they're on their app, Max, they delayed making sports a pay service. Could it be because there's a new NBA deal? There's so much on the table there. I think the whole thing's fascinating.
I definitely think it's because they're in on the new NBA deal.
Yeah.
And reportedly they are. So he's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Seth_Everett. What do you got?
Sports with Friends, Steve Gelbs, the on-field reporter for SNY. He's an old buddy. He got the gig when I was still with the Mets 10 years ago and was scared to death, and we really bonded. He knew I was miserable, and I knew he was miserable, and we really bonded then. He has since become a star, and I'm so proud of him. I'm so thrilled for his success. We talk a lot about the Jets because he does the Jets studio hosting, and he freelances at NHL Network, and he actually retweets posts of him talking about how great Jack Hughes is, and he's a really diehard Ranger fan. It's a really, really fun podcast. Steve Gelbs from SNY.
Who replaced Kevin Burkhardt on the Mets. So that's, Burkhardt actually got all his Fox stuff after leaving the Mets. Hall of Justice.
Hall of Justice is a gentleman by the name of Mike Carlin. You may not know the name, but he is the editor of Superman comics in the 90s. It was his idea to kill Superman and rejuvenate the comics industry. Mike Carlin on the death of Superman.
He killed Superman?
He killed Superman in the early 90s. You remember this. There was very little going on, and they decided to kill Superman, and people flooded to comic book shops. It was a phenomenon in 1992. I was a freshman at Syracuse and covered it for the campus TV station. That's how I got into comics.
That's how you got into comics?
Yeah, I was never a comic reader as a kid. I got into comics because of the death of Superman.
Wow, I did not know that. I learned something today, Seth.
There you go. And we talk all about that on the podcast.
Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. It's part of what Seth Everett does. Seth, all the best to you, your family. Hope your daughters are handling the Jack Hughes injury. It's a major blow to what? They're 12 and 14. This is a big deal.
Make the playoffs. Just make the playoffs. Change your goals for the year. Just make the playoffs.
Get a goalie. And that'll do it with Seth. Thank you, Seth. JP Shadrick, part of the Jags Radio Network. He'll join us in 25 minutes. I said this earlier in the show. So I text JP a day or so ago, and I said, would you come on? And he said, sure. I just want to let you know, since the post-game show ended Sunday early evening, I've been drinking heavily. And so I said, well, do not sober up on our account. So we'll see what condition JP Shadrick is in with the Jags missing the playoffs. He'll join us in 25 minutes' time. Miller and Moulton. We'll get some of your
texts.
texts.
Drink on the show?
Yes, you can. That's how we roll.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash prizes and more. With events like our new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, at some point, I'm going to go to all these places that we have ads with. I got to go to the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill.
Yeah, not really. Not really.
I got to try the pulled pork.
No, you don't. That's like told. Well, first off, I don't even know if they're spending any money anymore, but I'm against the idea of any place saying try our pulled pork unless they're a barbecue place. Because if they're a barbecue place, they have good pulled pork. Otherwise, they don't.
They don't even, they also say famous pulled pork.
It's not. I'm sorry.
Ugh, that's funny.
Oh, we got a plate. We got a Gatorade Zero. Probably a plate of goldfish. Plate of goldfish?
It's a plate of goldfish.
I was right.
Yeah. By the way, for those like Debbie Dunleavy there or what have you, Seth's angst towards Elon Musk is that Seth, and there is compelling evidence to back up his point, feels that Elon Musk is anti-Semitic. And since Seth is Jewish, that bothers him. So that's why he doesn't like Elon Musk.
That segment was off to a hot start. That was pretty
wow.
funny.
That's why I brought up the anti-Semitism. Because I know why Seth feels the way he does about Elon.
Yeah, that was funny.
All I was doing is the convert scene from History of the World in my head. Bring in the nuns.
Once again, it is always a challenge to sum up Seth's appearance.
It really is.
I never know how to put it in a nutshell for the podcast.
I will just put Seth Everett.
Seth Everett joins the show.
Seth Everett from Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, David, Mark noticed this because he saw me eating these, but I'm eating the toasty Cheez-Its in your guys' honor.
In our honor?
I'm fine with the regular Cheez-It.
Yeah, I prefer regular cheeses.
Well, I guess that's what I meant. Not in your honor, but because you guys discussed it last week, I figured
the Toasteds are good. I like the regular better.
I think there's more flavor in the regular.
It's not like the cheesy puff, the Cheetos that are puffy versus the Cheetos that are crunchy. I won't eat the puffy Cheetos.
Oh, you don't?
No, only the crunchy.
Oh my God! Now that's a poll question right there.
Would that get more engagement?
Sure, no one's
hundreds of responses to that one.
Barrett Salee has Michigan as his number 2 pick for next year. Is he high?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to lose 5 games at least. No, dead struck. That's the truth. Yeah. I mean, the crunchy ones have the cheesier flavor because it's less, it's more
They
dense.
suck. Now, let's just get to what it is. The puffy
puffs?
ones suck.
I like them. That's what I knew first, though. Like as a kid, that I had those. I never had the crunchy ones. I only
About
had
the
the
only
puffs.
snack my daughter can buy that there's a chance that it'll still be there in the morning. During the national championship game, one of the ladies at church bought her 2 big chocolate bars for Christmas.
We're coming back. If you want to tell us,
I took one of them down during the national.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. JP Shadrick will join us a little more than 15 minutes time. It works for the Jags. He's taken that loss Sunday pretty hard. Says he's been drinking pretty heavily since shortly after the postgame show ended. So, we'll see what kind of condition he's in and talk about Doug Peterson blaming just about everybody for the Jags' demise except Doug Peterson. So we'll talk to JP about that. Mark Miller said something utterly salacious to some of you during the commercial break. And this is the content that we should be using for our poll questions. Not like what we did today, would you trade a draft pick for a head coach? And we took that from Mike Vrabel getting fired and the Titans talking about they were going to trade him, but they thought it'd take too long. Okay, so that's our poll question. 14 of you are interested. Can't ask about aliens anymore when hundreds of you are interested. But, Mark came up with a topic that, quite frankly, should have been our poll question.
Well, everybody not named Mark Miller is eating on this show during the break. David comes back with David put a plate out to put goldfish in, which in and of itself is
his granddaughter's goldfish.
Right, his granddaughter's goldfish.
Correct.
David pours them onto a plate. I'm not sure why, instead of taking his hand and just reaching it in the bag and taking handfuls.
Well, first off, it's a big cardboard box, and I could take down the entire cardboard thing. So I actually go, no, I'll only have a quarter of the box on the plate because the granddaughter's coming over later in the afternoon and she needs some goldfish. Besides, I just bought the damn box yesterday. The box can't be gone before she visits.
So you finished the box that was there already and had to replace it?
Well, this is very tough because she comes over. She comes over tomorrow also. So I can't polish off the box until after she leaves tomorrow night.
Well, my daughter received 2 big candy bars from a lady at church for Christmas. And my daughter said, well, you can have one of them, Dad. And they're the big, oversized Hershey bars.
Right.
She had opened one of them and had taken like the row off. There was about 5 rows left.
Yeah, that's gone.
Third quarter of the national championship game.
Yeah.
I was looking. And I took it down. To which yesterday she went into the cupboard, into the pantry, and she started looking at the chocolate. And I went, oh, damn.
Well,
usually if it's a couple of days, I can say I ate it over a couple of days. But literally it was the day after she had opened it, and it was gone. She's like,
okay.
Dad.
Was there any of it left, or did you
None.
finish? Oh, okay.
The whole thing threw the paper away, buried it down underneath some coffee grounds so no one would see
You
it.
hid the evidence.
Always.
See, I didn't know if there was like 2 of them and you just polished off the one, because I was then thinking, well, your fatal mistake was you then didn't do to the second bar and leave it in the same shape as the first.
I knew I was gone on this one.
Okay.
But the daughter's finally figured out something that she can eat that I will not take. My daughter is a big fan of Cheetos, the puffs, not the crunchy.
Oh.
And I think those are trash.
You will not eat the cheese puffs.
I think cheese puffs are trash.
Okay. So she now knows if she gets cheese puffs, you won't eat them.
So far.
Now, NFL playoffs this weekend, if that's all you got, are they like totally off limits? Like, I hate these, no way. Or if you're like, it's my last choice, but guess what? This is the last thing we have in the pantry. They're going down.
David, I'm a nervous eater.
Me too.
And during a sporting event, even if I'm not into the game from one way or another, if the game gets tense, my first move is to the refrigerator or the pantry, so I've got something to go along with the tension of the game.
Yep, third quarter when Washington was hanging in there, and shutting down Michigan's running game, and I'm like, so yep, I started eating.
You and I both. I don't think I would eat the Cheetos Puffs.
Wow.
I can't say for 100% certainty, David.
Well, we're going to test it this weekend, right?
We are.
It'll probably be the Peacock game, too. That'll put you to the ultimate test.
Right, because I can't flip during the breaks because I'm locked into the screen.
Right. So you're stuck. Commercials will be on. You'll be pacing. Won't have any food in your hands. And all you got are cheese puffs.
By the way, David, what's your plan for that game? Because you don't have Peacock, right?
It's funny. I actually think we have it. I don't think I've been paying for it, but I think if you're a long-time Comcast/Xfinity customer, apparently you have it, is what somebody told me. If so, I haven't been watching
before Saturday night.
I probably should, yes. But, Mark, this might be an opportunity, since I have no friends, okay, to maybe go out and meet someone, anybody in Jacksonville and make a friend.
So you would rather go out, spend 30, 40, 50 bucks.
Right.
Because you can't go out without spending that.
Correct.
To watch a game with the potential of meeting a friend.
I don't have any. So, yes.
Other than sitting on your couch and spending $5.99 to watch the game, or $6.99 or whatever the hell Peacock cost a month.
Correct. Okay. I can't get the appetizers at home. Okay. And I know you could tell me we could, but I'm not going to prepare the appetizers at home. You know me in a chicken strip. I'm a sucker for a chicken strip. I'm a sucker for a chicken wing.
It's amazing that you haven't used DoorDash more.
I've never used DoorDash.
That is, for as much as the Moulton family refuses to cook, and that there is a delivery service out there that will basically get you any restaurant that you want, that you haven't used it. That surprises me.
I've been in Jacksonville 16 months. I know two people, JP Shadrick and former FGCU coach who's now an assistant at Jacksonville, Michael Fly. That's it. I know two people. I work from home. When do I ever come in contact with anybody? Mark, my big move is I'm now befriending. There's a convenience store that apparently based out of Jacksonville called Gate, Gate, Gate. All right. And, they cook food and what have you. Basically, they're trying to be Wawa. And there's a group of ladies that work at the Gate. Mark, my big social interaction is I go to Gate every morning and go, hey, how you doing? And spend 5 minutes talking to the ladies. How's your daughter? Did you see her over the holidays? Yeah, that's it. That's
Do you ask them about any sports?
No. They barely know the Jags are in Jacksonville. Yeah, no.
Hey, ladies, would you trade a first and second?
I'll ask them. In fact, you know what, Trent? You blankety blank. I will walk in today in a couple hours and I will go, ladies, would you trade a draft pick for Mike Vrabel?
Or would you accompany me and two other men to Kansas City to sit in 0-degree weather to watch a football game?
Will one of you watch a game with me at a local establishment Saturday night? I know you don't know who's playing, but I'll buy the chicken wings.
Can one of you do me a favor and come over and make sure I can log into Peacock?
I need a friend. Will one of you be my friend? It's tough being me.
It is. It's tough being us. I'm with you. I understand where you're coming from, but I'll watch it on Peacock alone as the wife goes to bed at 8 o'clock and the daughter has no interest in watching football?
I mean, I probably could go over my daughter and son-in-law's house, but I don't know. I mean, that would, I don't know, that would be maybe showing too much affection to the son-in-law. Then he would start to think like, wow, he really likes me. He came over to watch an NFL playoff game with me. I mean, I don't know if I want to be in that comfortable. You know, I still want the little bit of the intimidation factor.
You could be the world's biggest blankety blank.
Just saying.
Miller and Moulton. JP Shadrick, we will find out how much he has been drinking since the loss. He's next.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail
The
East.
law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now we welcome JP Shadrick to the show. He has a blood alcohol level of 0.37. JP, how you doing?
Well, not that good. Yeah. It's not good, Coach. It's been a tough couple days, and people are getting whacked. And
Listen,
what happens when you lose 5 or 6?
Yesterday, I said on the show, I said, as somebody who, drives around Jacksonville, this city is depressed right now. There is a malaise, as Jimmy Carter famously said 45 years ago. Jacksonville is bummed out.
Well, rightfully so. I mean, they were 8-3. They had the number 1 seed.
I just mean the city. I don't mean the team and the organization. I mean the city is bummed.
Yeah, but that's all they've. I mean, that's what happens when you're a one-team town.
Yes, that's exactly it.
In fact, if they weren't that way, then there'd be a big problem. I'll be brutally frank. If they weren't all upset and pissed off right now, then Jacksonville's got a lot bigger. Then they might as well go to London if they weren't all pissed off.
We've had really, really bad seasons where at the end it's like, oh, nobody really is like, whatever, just another, that's the worst part. That's when it's bad. And then,
I agree.
So the fact that everybody had bought into it and was on this ride as a top team in the AFC, they thought, and they found out quickly that they weren't.
I only picture to be the 1 seed. I mean, no big deal or anything preseason. I mean, I only picture to finish as the 1.
Well, I mean, they were the 1 for 3 hours after week 12 for the win. They literally were on the graphic, number 1 seed, and then the 4:00 games happened, and then they weren't again. But they had a chance if they'd have beaten Cincinnati. Then, okay, they're right there at the top again. And but they didn't, and now the dominoes are falling. So here we are. It's January, early vacation.
JP, I would just urge you to stay out of Doug Peterson's line of sight, because apparently everybody he's making eye contact with is losing their job. So if I were you, I'd just stay home. A sick day, do it by Zoom, whatever it is you got to do. You've got editing equipment there. You can record shit there.
I can do anything I want right here.
Right. I would just stay out of the office.
I still got all the COVID equipment here. We can do all the shows and everything.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking at it right now.
Yep.
It's collecting dust, but it's,
I wouldn't go in for a while.
Good idea. I think today actually is our last shows. We have like an afternoon show with Bucky Brooks today, and then they're shutting us down for probably till the Super Bowl. So I'll be around some.
Are you going to Vegas?
No.
No? Okay. No. I didn't know.
I don't think so, unless something happens with Fred that we don't know. We don't know yet.
Right. I mean, he's a finalist, so I just didn't know if.
Yeah, they would announce that at the honors, I suppose. But
yeah, is that
probably
Thursday
have
or Friday night?
Whatever probably Saturday night.
Because they used to announce it like dinner time Saturday, the night before the game.
Right.
Oh.
So I don't know about that yet, but we'll see. Got to get him in first.
That's
got him as a finalist. That's a start.
Big. That's a big step. That's a really big step. So it's been a good organizational push to try to. Sam Kavaris is the selector in Jacksonville, and trying to kind of help him gather quotes and things from other Hall of Famers and folks that were around him a lot. And so that's been a fun chore the last couple of weeks. But I think he's got a good case. He's the only running back in the class. So.
Which helps. And he might be the only running back for, I mean, is there another one coming up soon? Or Gore, right? Or is
Gore's got to be fairly, he's not that soon, I don't think. And then what about AP? What's his deal? When he last played?
That's true, but he didn't play. Did he play last year? No.
I don't remember. A couple of years ago, I think.
2 years
The
ago,
Saints, right?
I think he played in 20.
Seahawks for a minute, right?
Maybe
2021, I think.
Okay, yeah, a couple of years ago. So he's got a while. Let's consider some of the numbers. I mean, like he's third highest yards per carry in the league history. I mean, the guy's ridiculous. Over 11,000 yards. I mean, the only guy.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Our final segment along the network is with JP Shadrick on this hump day. JP, Westwood One, play-by-play, college and pro football. And he's also part of the Jags radio network. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at JP Shadrick, SHADRICK. Well, you sent me a text that said you're taking the loss to the Titans really well, that you've been, quote, drinking heavily since the post-game show ended Sunday. So this is JP Shadrick with a blood alcohol content of 0.37. Welcome, JP.
Well, good morning. I am sober as a judge today, okay? It's just fine. The sun came up today from the east, just like it did every other day. But boy, it's been a tough couple of days around here at Jacksonville. And yeah, I mean, just where they were 8-3. They were the number one seed for a 3-hour window after week 12's win. And then they lost 5 of 6. And the way it happened is the scariest part, because it was the defensive led team early in the season, right? They were taking the ball away. They were running or stopping the run. And then they weren't doing any of that on defense. And the offense had its own issues with struggling to get vertical down the field a lot. Some of that is the offensive line. Some of that's the quarterback. They had injuries at wide receiver. It just didn't feel right the last month and a half. And even if it didn't feel right, they could have salvaged a win and gotten the playoffs, and they didn't do it.
And You mentioned there's a lot of different fingers you can point, but the quarterback didn't play well, and he didn't have a great game in the finale. And for the first time ever, there are questions about Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to have to answer those next year. And I don't know if the Jags have ever had pressure on them entering a season. This year they were expected to have great things, but I don't know if there was pressure on them. The pressure now from within is going to build, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it should. I mean, it's year 4 coming up for the quarterback, right? Yes, and then the first year's a lost year with Urban and all that, but okay, well, at some point that happens to a lot of different people around the league sometimes, and they sometimes rally and figure it out. I think he was the first to say that in the locker room on Monday. Like he knows that there's going to be loud criticism of him and throughout this entire offseason and what he can be and what he is going to be. But the only one who can control what that is him. So he's going to go out and do his process and be right and ready to go. Now, I don't know, and he would never say this, but I'm just going to put words in his mouth. Why not? I don't know if he ever trusted that line, and
with good reason.
He didn't step into a lot of things, right? And they didn't hold it long for him a lot of times. They had some changes on the line this year, and he just, and even at times when he was able to get it down the field, there were some inaccuracies there. And he battled some injuries and all that. So it's a lost year for the Jaguars. I think there were still some things that Trevor did pretty well, but those are going to get overshadowed when he's not playing as well overall.
Is this 12 years you've been with the Jags? Is this more disappointing than when they came 6 minutes away from the Super Bowl, to be honest? I mean, I've only been in town a short while, but this city's depressed. This city is, they cannot believe their team is not playing this weekend.
I would, just thinking about it, and we're still kind of close to the fire here, but I mean, it's the worst collapse in Jaguars history. There's no doubt about that. It's not even close. I mean, they were like an 8-5 team one year, and and then they lost the last 3 and missed the playoffs, 8-8, right? But this is different. I would argue it's one of the biggest in recent league history too. I mean, to have that big of a lead, well, Tennessee would argue that they had one last year, right? And they blew it in a different way with injuries. So it's happened back-to-back years in this division. This one hurts because of everything. That was a weird year, 2017. The defense was great. They ran the ball. Blake Bortles, was he really the guy? He hadn't been paid yet, and he had a great December, but that was kind of a shocker to a lot of people that they actually got that far, and you never want to lose the AFC Championship game. That was the struggle in the way they did it. But this one feels different because it feels a little more stable. Like this is okay. Doug Peterson's won one of these before. Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 pick. Oh, you got another number 1 pick on defense, and a Josh Allen who's got 17.5 sacks. They got all these things going on, and they're watching it on TV this week. Yes, this one's worse.
Now what? I mean, they blew out the defensive staff. That's the first thing that's happened. That didn't seem like the biggest problem to me, JP. They really struggled scoring at times. So what else is going to happen?
It's a great question. I mean, I don't know if are there any curveballs left in the arsenal. I don't know what else would be done. I mean, maybe there is. Maybe there's something we don't see coming down the line here. But they started on defense. Okay, and they Bernie Parmalee gone as well, the running backs coach. That was announced a little later yesterday. So there's a couple of offensive coaches not coming back. The assistant O-line coach was not renewed, so he's out. But that's where it is. You start on defense, and then you solidify and figure out your priorities on offense. What do you really need in personnel? And go figure that out. You've got to protect the quarterback, in my opinion. That's me. They've got the 17th pick, they've got to go, in my opinion, with the best offensive lineman you can go with. And probably on the interior, because that's where it was the weakest.
You know, they do have some fascinating decisions. Calvin Ridley, remember when they acquired him, but his contract's now up. And is he a 1? You know, he's going to want to get paid like a 1. He only needs one other team to pay him close to being a 1, and the Jags likely will lose him. So, you know, they've got, but I'm with you. I think they need to upgrade the line. This will be the first time in Trevor's life that he's ever going to face this. If you think about it, I mean, won a national title as a freshman at Clemson, right? Or his first year. I mean, he's never faced what he's now going to face for an entire offseason. And even JP, I mean, you guys get off to a great start next year. Everybody's going to go, yeah, who cares?
Let's see in December, right? I mean, that's, fool me once, right? I mean, so that's where it is. You mentioned Ridley. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think he would love to get to the marketplace and see what that would bear for him. Now, Josh Allen is the other one. Josh Allen is a free agent. He just finished his 5th year, his rookie contract, 17 and a half sacks at the right time. They cannot let him get out of the building.
Worst case scenario, you got to tag him.
You're going to tag, you got to do whatever it is. You tag him, you sign him. You don't even flirt with that, because they have had an epidemic around here of first-round picks not re-signing second contracts, and he would just add to that list. And I don't have time right now to go through all of them. We have done that before, I think, on this show. It is a long list, and that's got to stop if you want cornerstone players for your team. And if Josh Allen isn't, he's like the perfect Jaguar, like the first pick in what draft that was 2019, and he played well at big times. And what else do you want? He's a good citizen. So that's priority number 1 to me. Get him figured out.
Is it going to get done? I mean, is there anything that leads you to believe that they're not going to get it done, JP?
I don't know how. I don't know how they can get by without doing it. Without all the, you think they took heat the other day, and they did, rightfully so. Just wait if that doesn't go down. I think they've got to figure it out, and they'll just find a way to do it. Now, the big talk was, hey, they're going to pay the quarterback this offseason, right, and get ahead of it. And I think that's on hold now.
Yeah,
I think you hold out on that and prove that he can go out there and get better.
Well, and Trevor, to his credit, he said, don't worry about the money. We'll get that figured out eventually. So I think that'll play well as well. Adam is our resident Jags fan in our Twitch chat room, and he said what I was about to say out loud. I'll take Mike Evans over Ridley. JP, there's a Twitter feed out there of 30 drops from Jags receivers of pretty well thrown balls downfield, end zone, that were dropped. I mean, it does seem as if the Jags have a bunch of guys at receivers, Zay Flowers, Ridley at times, but I mean, a Mike Evans would be a stud.
Oh yeah, I mean, the guy's probably going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, on this pace, right? That would be a great addition. We'll see if he's out there first. I mean, that you just don't know. It's not quite that time of year yet. You got to see who's really available, because you could have guys available, say they're available, now. Playoffs are still going on, all that, but then things get real, business happens, and then once March hits, you realize that some of those guys probably aren't going to be around. So. To your point, yes, you could argue there's a bunch of number 2s on this team, and that's fine. Like, this offense allegedly was built to win with a bunch of number 2 receivers. They don't need like a stud guy, but if those number 2 receivers aren't playing up to number 2 standards, then that's a problem. So there were times, I think they won some games this year with Ridley that they wouldn't have won without him. And I think he left a lot of plays out there too. And that's what happens when you're off for almost 2 years, getting back on track.
And don't need to state the obvious, but this was the year for the Jags with the Colts and Texans in transition. They both overachieved, but still, this was the year. Tennessee in transition. I mean, this was the year win the division, do what Detroit did in the NFC North, and the Jags couldn't pull it off. JP, thanks for not drinking this morning. Now you can go back to the hard stuff. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a long day. It always is. But it's always a pleasure to start it off with you guys. And thanks for having me again all year long.
Well,
JP Shadrick, Westwood One, college and pro football, and Jags Radio Network. Follow JP on Twix, Twitter/X at JP Shadrick, Shadrick. Listen to him on Jaguars, Jaguars.com. JP, thanks. Appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, guys.
Nice of him to be sober for us this morning.
I know. I'm a little disappointed, actually. Okay. I was kind of thought he'd just keep going. All right. He'd be like a cartoon character. I tell you what, that I thought there was a chance of that yesterday afternoon.
I wasn't expecting JP to become Foghorn Leghorn, but it would have been a nice twist.
It just, well, I don't know. I was hopeful, but he's too much of a pro. Damn, those damn professionals.
Exactly.
Don't they know this is Miller and Moulton? They don't have to live up to any standards. Golly.
It will be fascinating this offseason because Trevor's going to take heat. Now, not the heat he'd take if he was in a big market, but he's going to take heat.
Hey, people have done side-by-sides Gardner Minshew's career stats versus Trevor Lawrence's, and they're very similar. Oh, no. Blake Bortles' career stats through his first 3 years and Trevor Lawrence. Oh, no. It's game on, Mark. I can genuinely tell you.
Good.
It's game on.
And we'll see how Trevor handles it. Because as you pointed out, David, he's never dealt with really any adversity before.
No. No one's ever questioned, are you the guy? Never in his life. And now they're like, I don't know. I mean, we're dating him, but should we marry him? I don't know. I mean, he's good looking and all, but don't know.
Would you bet on him to lead them to the playoffs next year?
There's more than just him, but listen, of course. I'm all in on Trevor Lawrence if I'm the Jags. I am. I got other things to deal with right now. Eventually, I'm going to pay him. All right, but I'm glad, Mark.
What Houston's got going on is nice, and they did a remarkable job.
They are going to build on it.
Let's see but they will play a first place schedule. They've got to play the Chiefs. They've got to play the Ravens.
Right.
They've got to play the Bills. So let's see how they handle success, because it's not easy to repeat as a division champ.
I'll be curious how Peterson he's blaming everybody but him. He even questioned Trevor a little bit on Monday. So be curious how this plays out as well. Miller and Moulton. So you think anybody gets fired today? We're at 6. I mean, come on now, guys.
I didn't think anybody was getting fired yesterday.
I know.
The Vrabel news stunned me.
Could today be the Belichick day?
They met yesterday. Had a long talk yesterday. And I'm wondering if now Vrabel's availability actually helps push Bill out the door. So I say somebody gets fired today.
I say no.
Once again, Miller and Moulton can't agree on a thing.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey, y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, buried in bourbon there. They were the number one seed the first year Arthur Smith was gone. He also didn't trade A.J. Brown, and he really didn't want them to trade A.J. Brown. That's what caused the rift between Vrabel and the organization, was when they traded A.J. Brown. After they had told Vrabel they weren't going to do it, and Vrabel then told Brown he wasn't getting traded.
They have that on video, too.
Okay, also buried in bourbon, Tannehill was the one who choked. Vrabel didn't choke. Tannehill turned it over 4 times in that game. All right, at some point the players have to accept, and I'm a Tannehill guy. All right, but I mean, Mike Vrabel took them to an AFC Championship game, 4 straight playoffs appearances, and they were the number 1 seed. And they've only been that once in their history. Now, I agree, but also they've had an argument with, that they fired a GM, they brought in a first-time GM. I mean, buried in bourbon, you tell me. You look at their roster. I mean, I think he showed he can coach. He beat Miami and Jacksonville down the stretch with an inferior team both times. I mean, who do you think's more at fault, buried in bourbon, the coach or the GM? The roster or the coach? And if you think it's the coach, then fine.
David, have you seen that footage? Their draft room when they traded Brown. It was on NFL Network at the time. All the draft cameras and whatever,
Right.
and he stood up and was shaking his head and left the desk. He's sitting right next to the. I don't know if it was the GM, but it's interesting that they caught that on camera. And that's the exact moment.
Did you see the guy do the belly flop into the Bass Pro Shops in Alabama?
Yes.
You mean naked?
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Why?
That's what happens when Bama gets beat in the semis.
Got that right.
Josh Allen ain't going anywhere. They will tag him if they have to. He ain't going anywhere. Now, Cam Robinson's gone. And I think Ridley's gone, but I think Mike Evans in Jacksonville would be a home run signing.
Kansas City should give him a blank check.
Got that right.
They would, and they'd be the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
For Ridley? You said for who?
For Mike Evans.
Oh.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Excuse me. Yeah, the goldfish got stuck. Miller and Moulton, formerly of the Florida Sports Network. Now, we're just a Southwest Florida show this hour, brought to you by Todd and Jason at the Diamond District. They probably want to let everybody know it's about 5 weeks away from a Hallmark holiday.
No, they've got a wedding band thing going on next weekend.
Oh, okay.
So they've got one big weekend before they start getting you ready for Valentine's Day.
Decory, Versace, one of those deals.
Madonna,
Fosse.
And I've got to meet with them after the show.
They're
going right from here to there.
They're making so much money off us. There's not a joke we could tell that they won't at least find somewhat funny. They'll say, well, that Moulton's an idiot, but, you guys are good to us.
And if you want us to be good to you, 21,000's the text line. I can meet with you right after I meet with Jason and Todd. I've just got to be done by 1 o'clock. I've got a tea time.
I mean, I'll do business, but we got to make it quick.
I'd prefer the second meeting to be a Zoom or a text. That's just me.
I mean,
I'm available Thursday.
I'd really like to hit at least a half a bucket of balls before I play. I don't want to do it cold, but if I have to, I mean, if you're spending money, then okay.
Then I can show up at the tee at 12:58 and say, "How you doing, boys?"
Exactly. And I can start off triple double. It'll be all right. I'll live with it. I've shot 50, 138 before. Don't worry. Don't you worry. I could do it again. So I think today's the day in Foxborough. I really do. I think today's the day.
I'm under contract.
Well, you are, Bill, for now, until you're not. I also think Bob will just write the check. I do. I mean, come on. You got your money's worth out of Bill, don't you think?
Yes. 100%. Write him the check. Let him do what he wants. Hire Mike Vrabel and call it a day. If that's what you're going to do, just be done with it.
Yeah. Bill, we love you. Okay. You'll always be, family. Go break the record somewhere else. And, someday we'll honor you here. Look around, tell us where you want your name to be. Want to be next to Brady or on the other side of Brady? I mean, which is it? You guys going to hug it out or no? Whatever. Think about it.
I'm just envisioning a Belichick statue with the cutoff sleeves on the sweatshirt and how you pull that off.
Maybe there should be some snowflakes, around it also,
And a drone above it with a camera on it. How about that? Sorry.
Wow.
I had
Wow. It's like he's a Jets fan or something, man.
I just don't like cheating. I don't support cheating.
Well, then you should stop watching sports, honestly. I mean, everybody's trying to gain an edge. Everybody's stealing signals in college. Michigan just did it in the most unethical way. All right, which is clearly illegal, against the rules. It's clearly stated. But everybody's stealing signals in college.
Isn't what Michigan did this year, and I don't know the right way to put it, but it's a testament to how to spin something, because they cheated. And yet they were able to play the victim all year long.
Yep.
It is remarkable. And I'm not taking anything away from their championship. They earned it. There's no asterisk in my opinion. But they did do a hell of a job in cheating and then playing the Michigan versus everybody card.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what everybody does now. We do it in politics, we do it in life, and we certainly do it in sports. No, we're the ones that are actually being victimized here. Wait, what? Yep. We're the ones being victimized. Us against the world. Yeah. And listen, I mean, Mark, if you think about it, is there an environment better created to do this in than sports? I mean, team, everybody in it together, locker room, everything stays in the locker room. You got all this media, you got all these fans, and it's like, you guys don't really know what's going on. I mean, we'll give you a little taste here, a little bit. You guys don't really know what's going on. You got to be in the inner sanctum, got to be a part of the team. That's why, Mark, you and I have always talked about the equipment manager. The equipment manager knows everything. 100%. College, pro, majors, minors. Mark, who knows more than, outside of the secretary of the boss, who knows more than the equipment manager?
Nobody. Because they've not only have the coach's ear, but they've got the locker room's ear. They know who's showing up first. They know who's not showing up.
And so, you stand in front of that room and you tell the room, hey, they're picking on us. And you guys didn't do anything wrong. And fine, if it's going to be that way, it's us against the world. Yeah. And the hometown media is not going to, write a different narrative. Hometown media is going to be like, yeah, that big bad world is a nasty place. It's unfair.
And the fan base obviously is quick to jump on anything that the team is jumping on.
Right. And then when you get to the out-of-town media, the national media, and they start to ask some of the questions and talk about some of the stuff that you don't want to talk about, you just say, oh, there you go again. Michigan against the world again, that narrative. You guys creating stuff that's not there. No, actually it is. No, it's not. Oh, okay.
Don't you wish a team could win a championship one of these years and then just go out there and be like, yep, we're the best. We believed in ourselves all year and we did it, and you guys can all suck it. Because Georgia did the same thing a couple of years ago. Remember that?
They all do it.
No one believed in us.
No,
we're the number one team all year.
Name of the team that hasn't done it. When Golden State won 2 years ago, they talked about everybody's written us off. It's like, what are you talking about? What world are you guys living in?
That's what I'm saying. I wish someone one of these years would win a championship and they just come out and be like, yeah, we're the best.
Yeah.
It's kind of why we like Tiger so much. I mean, a different sport, but Tiger was unapologetic for winning, wanting to win, and saying he was the best.
It's a great point.
It's kind of why some of us love the Canes and Spurrier's Gators also, because Steve had no problem telling everybody before he beat him and after he beat him that he was going to beat him. And the Canes certainly had no trouble telling you beforehand, during, and after that they were going to whoop your. And it was actually something kind of nice about that.
But it's funny, David. I guess because we don't believe Jarrah has the team. Jarrah tells you all the time he's got the proper team.
Yep. He does.
I mean, always.
Yep. I will say, his 07 team should have played the Patriots. It's the one time since the dynasty there that Jimmy created. All right. In the last 25 years, I think the Cowboys had one team that was like, that's the best team in the NFC. And the Giants went in there and upset them on their way to upsetting the unbeaten Patriots. That's probably the one-time mark in 25 years that the Cowboys had the best team. But yeah, I mean, Trent, everybody's playing, and not just in life, in sports. Oh, everybody plays the no respect, disrespect, victim card. Everybody's picking on them. Everyone outside the room is the enemy. Enemy. I mean, I remember back in the day, Bill Parcells looked right at the New York media in the mid-'80s. He called them commies. Looked right at you. You're all a bunch of commies. No, sir. And they started laughing. He goes, no, I'm not laughing. You're all a bunch of commies. You're all trying to infiltrate what I got going on in there. Okay? And what you're selling and what we're selling are two totally different things. And I ain't letting you in there.
Which can lead us all the way back to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the opposite of that right now, where they've been infiltrated and the infiltration's coming from within.
Right.
The players are the one giving that information.
Right. The media is coming in going, hey, anybody want to talk off the record? They go, off the record? Hell, you use my name. The crap going on in here.
And Sirianni's trying to act like everything's okay.
Oh,
He's Kevin Bacon in Animal House, to date myself, standing on the street going, all is well. Everything's fine.
It'll be good. No, it's fine. I think everybody's blowing this out of proportion. That scene in Caddyshack, he's standing there going, yeah, I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come for quite some time.
Right.
No, actually, this is the heavy
it's
stuff.
coming. It's coming
No,
right
no,
now.
You're drowning in it, actually, but okay.
That locker room hates him, it seems like. Hate's a strong word, not hate, but they do not, they're not a fan.
Huh?
No, there's clearly a disrespect right now. He has privately and publicly pleaded to let's keep it together. And up until like a week or so ago, Jalen Hurts was on board, but now people are wondering if even Hurts is on board.
They were 10-1.
Yes, they were. I saw them beat the Chiefs to get to 10-1.
10-1.
Now, we did point out they had a challenging schedule. They had a 5-game stretch there, and they won the first 2, Buffalo and Kansas City. But we pointed out they had at Dallas, they had San Francisco, they at Seattle. We thought was a tricky game. So,
Right.
some of the
To
losses
be 10-1 and go 1 for
1 and 5.
1 and 5 the rest of the way. That's
I mean, losing at home to Arizona. That's the oh my goodness, the house is on fire. When we win out, we're the 2 seed, and we lose at home to Arizona.
Kind of hilarious that Dallas and Philly both lost to Arizona this year.
So I like the Bucs Monday. I really do. I think they're more of a team. I hope Baker's just healthy enough to be able to make the couple plays he'll need, but I don't know how they cover Evans and Godwin.
What's
That
the spread?
secondary's a mess.
Philly's favored by 3.
Oh, Bucks.
Remember, Philly went in there week 3 when they were both 2-0, and the game was like a 14-point game. Philly dominated that game. That game wasn't that close. I like 2 upsets this week, by the way. 2. I'm ready to make picks on Wednesday.
Get set for the thrill of a lifetime with Mud Wheelers Gone Wild at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. 3 full days of mud, trails, camping, and more. All for ATVs and side-by-sides only. Friday night is movie night. Ride up and relax. Compete for cash, prizes, and more. With events like a new ATV and side-by-side bounty obstacle challenge, side-by-side and barrel races, and scavenger hunt. Don't miss this family-friendly ATV and side-by-side only event at Redneck Mud Park, January 19th through 21st. Visit redneckmudpark.com for discount tickets and details.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, our whole Cheetos conversation reminds me of like in college when I would buy cheap, disgusting whiskey because I knew that my roommates wouldn't touch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mine. I don't have to put my initials on it or anything. They're just not touching it because it's jet fuel.
There's nothing safe in my house that my daughter leaves. I'm an awful, awful human being. I will eat her ice cream. I will eat her snacks. I look right at it. Did you eat? Yeah, I did. That was mine. I don't care. It was 10:30 at night and I was hungry. I don't know what to tell you.
I paid for it. What do you? What? It wasn't yours.
You guys like hot Cheetos?
I can't say I've had. I eat very little. As fat as I am, I don't eat a lot of snack food.
Okay.
I mean, I like chips and salsa. I like chips and cheese. I don't buy.
So you do your meals right when it's time to eat.
It's time to eat. It's time to eat.
Okay. It's probably the traditional way to go about it.
And if I were to get snacks, I would get potato chips and dip. That would be my first go-to.
French onion dip?
Yes.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
That's where if I'm going snacks, I'm going potato. If I'm not going nachos and some sort of salsa guac cheese dip, I'm going plain old potato chips with French onion.
That's a good pick.
That's my favorite. And while Cheetos are great, they're messy. You had orange fingers, and I don't want orange fingers.
Same with Doritos.
Exactly. I'm not a Dorito guy just for that reason.
Doritos, it takes more, though. But
it does.
It still happens, nonetheless.
It's the smell of Doritos that bothers me, though.
You don't like the smell?
No.
You don't like that over-processed?
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I like? Because I think you get more of them in the smaller bags than you do the other stuff. And I'm into quantity.
What's that?
Fritos.
My wife loves Fritos. I like Fritos more than I used to. I will admit that.
In those small bags, which half of it is air, I actually think because the Fritos is smaller, that they're, you get more Fritos, I think, in the small bags than you do Doritos or Cheetos or what have you. And Trent, you can ask Mark. We've been out having a meal, and I will look at the waitress and I will go, okay, which one of these two is more food? And she will go, oh, the fish and chips. I go, well, then I'll take the fish and chips.
Which one of these is more?
No, I just ask. I was at a restaurant a couple weeks ago. A lady came up to me and I go, "These entrees all look nice. Which one is the most food?" And she said, "That one." And I go, "That's the one I want."
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I mean, I'm paying $25 or whatever for all of it. It's kind of like, so which one is the most food? I'm in.
Adam, I think the Pistons are beating the Spurs.
Of course you do.
Here we go. They play tonight?
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
In Detroit?
Yeah, baby.
Okay, we're putting something on this. Something painful. Like you can never talk about the Pistons for the rest of the year.
Ooh.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for being with us. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts and a prediction or two coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time.
Moulton's ready to pick the games already.
I am, actually. I got two NFL upsets that I'm going with. Everybody else, I'll take the favorite. I am worried about when Flacco hits midnight. I mean, I do think some of this is, I don't know, a magic carpet ride here from Joe, because Joe looked pretty lousy for the last couple of years, and all of a sudden, taking 3/4 of a year off, sitting on his couch, he shows up and he's 2012 Joe Flacco again. That's, I don't know.
But we have a bit of a developing story that happened during that last commercial break.
Oh, yes, we do.
Trent, our esteemed producer.
Wow, he's esteemed now.
Yeah.
That's pretty well, in 10 weeks, that's pretty good.
The last guy fell asleep once a week.
I understand.
It doesn't take much around here.
And we love him also.
Yeah.
I mean, we're actually
spent a bunch of time with him the other day. He's doing great.
We're a bunch of softies. Okay. We may have a hard exterior, but we're marshmallow.
But Trent is very keyed up because tonight two of the worst teams in sports are playing one another.
Got that right. Golly.
The Detroit Pistons, with a 3-34 record.
That's right. An 081 winning percentage, Mark.
Are hosting the 5-30 San Antonio Spurs.
Two worst teams in the league, Mark, combined 8-64.
Oh, my goodness.
It's unbelievable. That's almost an entire NBA season.
Trent, I'm guessing, has already made a bet on the Pistons.
I have not yet, because I know I'm about to spend a ton of money in Detroit this weekend.
So you can't afford the $3 you're going to lose on the Pistons tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay.
No, it involves me depositing into my Hard Rock account.
Oh, the Hard Rock account is empty already.
It's empty. Well, I have 96 cents in there, but the minimum wager you can put on something is $1. So I got to wait till I can put some more money in there, and then
Mark,
I can get $1.
You got a nickel? You got a nickel in your pocket?
Hell, I got 20. I might give him $20.
The minimum
of course, I'm
you
going to
can
charge.
deposit,
I'm going to charge him a vig. That 20 will end up being 500 by the end of the month at the rate Trent's going.
Well, yeah, because he'll never be able to pay it off.
But instead of wagering your hard-earned cash, on the Pistons, what if we have a different kind of bet?
Let's make a deal.
Here's the deal.
Pistons lose,
right, at home, which you've said in the past is big, which I don't know why they've won twice there.
I would like to say he has to go 2 weeks without wearing any Detroit sports gear.
Oh, no.
But I don't think he'd come to work with clothes if that were the case.
I was going to say, I don't think he has 3 days of clothing that doesn't have Detroit sports gear on it. Plus, we do have to, if the Lions win, we got to let him show up all next week, just, wearing Billy Sims jerseys or whatever the heck he's got.
Got a lot of them. A lot of names, David, that you probably don't remember.
Oh, I'm sure you got an Anzalone jersey. I'm sure. Here's the deal, buddy. Esteemed one. You got the Pistons. We've got the Spurs. if the Spurs win, you can't mention the Pistons for the rest of the season.
How about I can't mention them until they win again? That could be the rest of the season. It could be next year.
No, because they're playing the Wizards on Monday, and the Wizards suck as much as they do. So no.
No. I'll put it this way. At least, when's the All-Star game in basketball?
February.
It's like,
You
I think
can't
it's
mention the Pistons until after the All-Star game.
Okay. I'll make that bet.
By the way, the All-Star game is after Valentine's Day, just so you know. That's like the last day of basketball, and then you got like the 4-day All-Star weekend and into the following week. So just so you know, you've got 5 weeks minimum, and then 6 weeks till they play again before there's a reason for you to mention them.
And I like that you almost went Valentine's J there instead of day, because I think that's what Snoop gets his partner every year, is a Valentine's J.
Well, and Monday Night Football is very into Snoop this year.
Yes, they are.
Do you like the Open?
No.
You don't?
No.
They spent, needless to say, a little bit of time and money.
It's fine.
The Chris Stapleton, Snoop, new Monday Night Football Open.
It's fine.
I love it.
There you go. Then it wins, because it's not anything that makes me turn a television off. I'd rather see Carrie Underwood.
Well, I can understand that.
I mean, she wins.
This just in, she was taken.
I gotcha. But there's one whatever night football song as far as I'm concerned. It's not the Monday Night Football new theme.
Okay. Which is really the old theme because it's the Phil Collins song. But yeah, okay.
Right.
I'm just curious. I hadn't asked you all year whether or not you liked it or not. I will say the network folks really like it. They think they did a good thing. So,
and as long as they're high on themselves, then good for them.
Well, Mark, unfortunately, they almost always are. So that's why it's important for me to get the truth, because I will tell them what the peeps, I will tell them what they're really thinking and feeling.
Yeah, I'm not a Phil Collins guy, and I still think it's, Chris Stapleton sounds a lot like Phil Collins singing that song. Like, if it weren't on, I wouldn't be able to say, put it this way, if that song came, if you gave me the Chris Stapleton singing that the first time and said, who's singing this? I don't know if I'd be able to tell you. Without seeing it, I know who it is.
Well, also, I think the important thing here, I don't think you can count on you can count on one hand the musicians or people in the music business that are more marketable than Snoop Dogg. So that's a huge draw for people, I guess.
Now, here's the question. What does Trent get if the Pistons win? Like E.B. Hill in our Twitch chat room says, how about a 10-week bonus for Trent? Well, first off, that's only $70. Secondly, we'd have to cut that in half because his punishment if the Pistons lose is 5 to 6 weeks of not being able to mention them. So we're only going to give him the same bonus in return.
I wish I had a Piston jersey. I would say I would wear the jersey tomorrow if they win, but maybe I'll wear my Washington Generals basketball jersey if they win.
Listen, since we pay him $7 a show, or is it a week? I don't know. I mean, please, he might move in with you. You just said you're going to give him $20. I mean, that's a lot of money for Trent. So what do you say? We want to give him $20?
We'll give him, if the Pistons win, we'll give him $20.
You know how much ramen I can buy with $20?
Yes, we do.
Not as much as you used to be able to. I do know that. Even that's gone up. Used to be 10 for 10, I think.
Yeah, it also depends if you want the prepackaged brick or if you want the cup noodles. There's a huge difference there.
You never go with the cup.
I was always a brick guy in college.
Well,
they were
usually
cheaper.
I'm a brick guy, but you have to have the right dish for it. See, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of hidden purchases.
So let me get this straight. We have to give you $20 and we have to give you the dishware for the ramen too?
No. The $20 should cover a couple cases of ramen and the dishware.
Okay. no offense, I really think you should sell one of those playoff tickets and tell the girlfriend, sorry, we took a vote on the show. You're out. Ramen noodle and kitchenware won. Even Dad finished second to that.
So the bet is up.
All right.
Trent has to go till after the All-Star break without mentioning the Pistons, and we have to give Trent $20.
$20, which is probably half of our account. But we'll do it, Trent, for you. We're men of honor. We live up to our word. Wow. I don't know about the dishware, though. I don't know if we can buy that. Okay. You may have to just heat up the brick.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. You'll have to read Bianchi. Look up Mike Bianchi's article on Michigan. He rewrote the "Hail to the Victor" song. Hail to the Victor spine. Hail to Harbaugh line. Hail, hail to Michigan. Chicanery at its best. Hail to elaborate sign stealing. Hail to coaches double dealing. Hail, hail to Michigan, the cheaters we detest.
That is great. That took some thought.
Bianchi went scorched earth on Michigan today.
Someone's got to do it. They're getting a lot of credit, which they should. But you got to talk about a little bit of both. They deserve a lot of credit, but you can't ignore the elephant in the room. So I'm sure you guys saw this, but this is the first time ever that the three teams on Lake Erie have made the playoffs in the same year. It's the Bills, Browns, and Lions. First time ever.
First time what?
The 3 Lake Erie teams have all made the playoffs in the
Bills,
same year.
Browns, Lions. Gotcha.
They're calling it the lake effect. Dumb.
Aha! 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 I can't believe the girlfriend's still right now going. Honestly. Have you texted his dad?
Doing it right now.
I don't know how else to explain it to you guys.
Listen, no. You don't understand. I get it. You guys are all fond of her. She's basically been a part of the family for years. You all think that they're going to get married. She's a huge Detroit fan. Okay. She's not related. It's A, your father. B, it's a $600 minimum ticket. She's at least got to be a fiance. Come
It's
on.
Sunday night, and if my dad goes, my mom's watching alone. She's a huge fan. There's a lot of factors here, and ultimately, this was the decision that we came to.
Wow.
It was a group decision.
The girlfriend could have stayed with the mom and watched the game.
Right.
Well, she lives in Detroit. Mom lives in Grand Rapids. You know, it's.
Well, if she's family,
they're both teachers. They got to teach on Monday morning.
they have the day off.
Yeah. It's MLK Day. They don't go to school on Monday. I don't think.
They have professional development.
Do they really?
Yes. So that's what sucks is on Monday morning, my older brother Brock too, he's a high school teacher, so they have to like get back in the morning for PD.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's messy. It's just it's a lot of
first off,
strings attached. If the game was on Saturday, it would have been no hesitation.
Well, first off, how about you 3 brothers do rock, paper, scissors? One of you doesn't go, and mom and dad go.
Well, that would be.
How about the brother with the girlfriend stays home with her?
Well, he's the one that's had the tickets the longest. Me and my older brother are the ones that have the 4 seats. Little brother has been, I don't want to say mooching, but he just kind of comes to the games when he can and buys us some beer or whatever.
Well,
his dad just texts back, reluctantly passed, not big on my decision as Sunday nears.
Tell him, he's got rank. He can change his mind. The lieutenant colonel.
Right up until the final minute.
Yeah, right. Lieutenant colonel can change his mind.
Yeah, I brought you into this world. I can take you out.
Exactly. Yeah, the 4-star general really can pull rank.
Here we go.
Go in the bedroom, make another one look just like you.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, 6 to 9, and the Diamond District bonus hour for the 239 from 9 to 10. One story we have not gotten to today before you do your thing.
Sure.
So did you see the contract? I don't know if it's official, but the word's out that the Heat are giving Spoelstra.
8 for 120?
That's 15 per. Well, basically, don't you think Spoelstra said to Riley and Mickey Harrison, listen, I don't want to say anything, but Monty Williams is getting $13 million a year with the Pistons. I don't know. I think I'm better than him.
Well, he had to get some more money. He just got divorced. There's going to be alimony payments. They're going to be hefty.
Well, that's true. He just lost half. So
Yeah.
notice they waited to negotiate this until after the divorce.
You're damn right they did.
Right, because the rest of the family made out pretty well in it anyway. So now this all goes to him,
and he needs it.
He does need it. They got a couple kids, and yeah. So. But I just thought so that's the new going rate in the NBA. Spo at $15 million per, which is funny because the Heat players are looking around going, man, they throw money around like manhole covers for us. But, he gets 15, huh? Got it.
And I think a lot of the players are really going, boy, 15, huh? I wouldn't play for that.
Right. In fact, some of them are probably saying, $15 million a year. You coming off the bench for that?
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1943, FDR becomes the first president to visit a foreign country during wartime when he goes to Morocco. 1952, The Greatest Show on Earth premieres. It would win Best Picture. 1956, Elvis records Heartbreak Hotel. In 1964, introducing the Beatles, the first album release in the U.S. of the Beatles happened. Today in 67, PBS begins as a 70-station network, the Educational Network. Today in 82, we had the Freezer Bowl in Cincinnati. Bengals beat the Chargers 27-7. We had this little game in San Francisco. It would end 28-27, Montana to Clark.
Otherwise known as the catch.
In 85, Lenny Wilkens becomes the first coach to get to 1,000 games. Seattle would beat Golden State that night by 3. In 89, Gretzky passes Howe as the all-time leading scorer. Today in 96, Jimmy Johnson named the Dolphins head coach. 25 years ago today at 9 p.m., was it 9 or 10 on HBO? The Sopranos debuted.
I don't know what time it was airing when it debuted, but I believe the show was 9 p.m.
Yeah, 9 p.m. And 2 years ago, Georgia takes down Alabama for the Natty. George Washington Carver, Lou Henson, Willie McCovey, and Jim Croce, all born today. Frank Mahavlich is 86. Rod Stewart, 79. Donald Fagen from Steely Dan is 76. George Foreman is 75. And Pat Benatar is 71.
Great day for the music birthdays.
It is. What'd I miss, David?
I only got one thing of note. I have to admit, I was a Pat Benatar fan.
I was too.
My best friend and I, we used to jam Benatar on the way to school. So if you want to understand just how messed up we were in the mid-'70s, look up the song Convoy. It reached number 1 on the charts today in 76.
We got a little old Convoy, that song.
Yep.
Good song.
Number 1.
CB radios were a big deal.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Smokey and the Bandit, I think it just come out or was about to come out. Oh, yeah. On this day in 76, C.W. McCall, the number 1 song in the land. Tell us about it, Casey Kasem. Convoy.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
I really didn't know where to put this, if it was the good or the bad, but I'm using it as the good. We go to Ontario, where Lulu Lotus of Mississauga has an unusual talent. She learned she could whistle using her nose at the age of 7. And earlier this week, visited the Aeracoustics Engineering Company, where she measured how loud she could whistle with her nose in a specialized room for precision recording. And David, she blew 44.1 decibels, setting a Guinness World Record for the loudest nose whistle ever.
That is disturbing on many levels. But the biggest disturbance I find to be that someone else had done it before. I mean, somebody else actually went to them and said, "Hey, I'm going to whistle with my nose. You want to measure it?"
Apparently, her 5-year-old son can whistle through his nose as well, and she said it would be a dream come true if he beat my record one day. I'm not making that up. That's literally a quote. You would think I made that quote up, but I didn't.
It's good to have goals.
For the bad, we go to Australia, where wildlife workers were dispatched to a home when residents spotted what they initially thought was a lizard. Turned out they had a crocodile in their chicken coop. Fortunately for the homeowners, all the chickens and pets living on the property have been accounted for. The croc was removed and will be taken to either a zoo or a farm. And finally, the ugly. We go to Houston, where a couple of stray dogs made their way inside of a Houston car dealership. And the bull terrier mix and the second dog, whose breed is not known, did some damage to the dealership. They caused an estimated $350,000 in damage.
Damn.
Scratching paint, tearing the bumper off of vehicles, all captured on video inside the dealership. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, January the 10th, 2024.
3 games in the NHL tonight, 2 of them on TNT. Minnesota, Dallas at 7:30, Vegas and Colorado at 10. That could be a Western Conference final. 10 games in the NBA. The Heat are underdogs at home to Oklahoma City. The Thunder a 3.5-point favorite. And they should be. They've been terrific this year. College hoops, we got a lot going on. A lot going on. So UCF's hosting Kansas. That game's on like ESPN Plus, though. I mean, that's not on a network, I don't believe. 7 o'clock. Welcome to the Big 12 UCF.
They're only a 6.5-point dog. I'm surprised the number's that low in that game.
Well, Kansas struggled to beat TCU at Allen Fieldhouse over the weekend. They needed to rally late to win by 2.
I'm sorry, 8.5. I thought I saw it at 6.5. It's at 8.5. That makes a little more sense.
A game that is televised on the ESPN family of networks is Carolina at NC State. They genuinely don't like each other. Correct, Mark?
It's very true.
Miami's hosting Louisville. Florida's at Ole Miss, 9 o'clock SEC network. This is interesting. Ole Miss was undefeated until the weekend, and yet Florida is a 2.5-point favorite on the road at Ole Miss. Be a good win for the Gators, who right now I do not believe to be a tournament team. Lost a close one at home to Kentucky over the weekend.
They're just on the bubble. A lot of bracketologists have them either in the first 4 out or the next 4 out. So they could still make it, but
oh, yeah. But I mean, this is where, a toss-up game on the road. It'd be nice to put these in the W column at the end when they're deciding whether or not you go to the tournament or not.
Yeah, they're favored on the road. The other one just conference play. Ohio State's at home against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's the ranked team, and Ohio State's favored by 1.5. Tough to win on the road in conference play. David and I believe it's the last home field, court, ice, great advantage that there is in sports is home court and college hoop.
Absolutely, and it was on full display last night. Number 1 and 2 in the country, both lost on the road in conference play. Purdue got blown out.
Nebraska ball.
What was that?
Nebraska ball. Fred Hoiberg, baby. Watch out for the Huskers.
Listen, Nebraska's really good indoors. Volleyball, basketball, Nebraska's got it figured out. It's the outdoors.
Maybe they should build a dome.
You know what? Maybe. It's the outdoor activities that they're lacking a little bit right now in Lincoln. So that's what's going on. Patriots met with Belichick yesterday. How long do you need to make this decision? I mean, come on.
Particularly when we thought you've already made it.
Right.
Now you're just trying to figure out how to announce it? I mean, he earned his job back in the exit interview yesterday? What happened?
Well, I will say it struck a lot of people. It was either late Sunday or Monday when he said, listen, there's a lot of us involved in running this organization, but if you want to take me out of the personnel process, okay. So that was the first indication that Bill would be willing to give up personnel, which, okay, now let's ask the question. I mean, we all think he can still coach really well. We just think that his roster stinks and it's his doing. So if now he's not in charge of the roster, how many other coaches do you want besides Bill Belichick? I mean,
it can't be that many.
You would think not, right? Even if you think he's lost a step. So he doesn't throw high 90s anymore. He throws 95.
He still can paint the corners. I know we're using another sport, but I'll take what he can do.
Right.
With a game script with anybody.
So, but I mean, their roster's bad. Oof. We said it all off season leading in. We're like, could somebody tell me where the good players on this roster are, please? Because we don't see them. Now, they just signed him before last season. They signed him to an extension. I think he's got 3 or 4 years left on a contract.
3-year extension, but I could be wrong.
So that's why it would be it'd be a sizable check that, Mr. Kraft would have to write there. He's got the money, but still it'd be a sizable check. But I'm expecting something today. I don't think this takes long. And the other situation, which is interesting, there's no noise coming out of Chicago. And if you look the last 3 years, the Bears have held a presser either immediately after the final game or the very next day. And they've had announcements for 3 consecutive years.
Are they getting involved in the Harbaugh sweepstakes?
That's what I'm wondering. And that's why there's nothing to announce because, well, we're okay with what we have, but we are kind of looking to upgrade.
I'm telling you, if they get Harbaugh and then draft Caleb Williams, we talk about the future in the NFC North. It only gets brighter if those two things happen. We'll see. But
yeah, but now think about this, though. I mean, unless, this is where did C.J. Stroud change people's thinking? I mean, usually rookie quarterbacks don't come in to bad teams. Like Ben Roethlisberger came into a good team, went to the AFC Championship game. Rookie quarterbacks don't normally show up to a bad team and take them to the playoffs. So let me ask you this, Trent. You're the GM. You're Eberflus. We're blowing out Fields and we're bringing in Caleb Williams. How do you think you're doing next year?
You won 7 games this year, I think.
Right.
I think you're about that. You're about 500.
Okay, so we go 7-10 again. Am I seeing year 4?
No.
Okay, well, don't think that doesn't enter into the equation when the GM and the coach are figuring out what it is they want to do. Yeah, I don't really want to keep Fields. I'd rather go with this guy. Yeah, but if we bring in this guy, are we going to see 2025?
Well, that's why I say they should time it up. Do it now, Harbaugh Williams.
The other side of that, just as you mentioned, C.J. Stroud and the pressure's going to put on. Think about the Colts. Richardson didn't play and they went as far as they did. He'll have pressure on him as well. Miller and Moulton. Have a great rest of your day. We'll do it tomorrow morning again at 6 a.m.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury,